when you working out, because I mean, of course, we work out to keep ourselves healthy, to keep ourselves in shape, and the whole nine. But would you say that? And I'm just only going by because the fact that we've kind of built our relationship over this time period. Would you say that it actually helps you spiritually?
Yeah, yeah. So I started working out when I was a teenager because I want to look good. I wanted to just feel good and look, like I got some strength in me. But then once I passed that phase of your newbie gains, then it's just a lifestyle. And then I realized that it's more mental for me. Like I
Mm.
think better, my energy's better, just my attitude is better. And there's times where I skip almost a whole week without working out, and I'm just not there. I'm just very clouded, like just mentally. So I do it mainly now for myself, mentally, just to feel good and perform good. Because I'm
Mm.
telling you, my performance is a lot better when I feel good physically. So it's a balance, it's a balance.
So mainly, so I'm just trying to put it in perspective because I talk to the audience all the time about working out and prayer, right? So you say it's more for you mentally for yourself, for you.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Again, at first, I didn't start working out because I want to think better. I just want to look good.
Yeah.
But once I kind of got past that, and then I'm just like, nah, I do it now mainly for myself, especially being a dad and just having life and just responsibilities in life is my way. Whereas like it has nothing to do with my wife or it's got nothing to do with anybody else. This is now personal, just with me, and it
Mm.
feels good. I like that connection with myself. So now is more mentally, and of course, yeah, I also feel good. I look like I feel better versus
Yeah.
when I don't. When I don't show up for myself. It's just me like showing up for myself. Women do their thing to, hey, what, go out, take a day or something, and for me, it's working out. Like I just feel good right there.
No, I totally agree, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said again, it's definitely mentally. For me, it's more spiritual now because
Yeah,
when I work out and I push myself past the threshold, and I have my trainer and he pushes me, and you go in there and it's more spiritual. It's like how do where do we go with ourselves? Like I see a lot of people in the gym and they do what's comfortable for them. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Or maybe they can't afford to get a trainer. You know, and it's kind of what I say about music. Like people get what's comfortable for them. Sometimes you got to push yourself. And I've
yeah,
watched people go in the gym and just do their same routine. Like it might be cool, but I've noticed that a lot of people are very complacent because they never really go to another level. Because one thing I've known
yeah,
about life, what I've learned about life is that if you don't have something that push you, you're gonna stay complacent. You're gonna stay in that comfort zone.
yeah,
And I've watched like even because I train fighters too, right? I've watched cats do their own workout, and then when you get in there with somebody that really push past that, they winded. They're very winded. Like even
yeah,
though you work out all the time, you're not as strong as you want to be because you've built. It's like a compressor. You've got that threshold. It's
yeah,
like you have a threshold. You got to push really past the threshold. And so I just try to tell people in life in general. For me, is I want when I go and I train my trainer, I have no idea what he's gonna have me do. I have no clue. It's almost like why would you put yourself through that type of torture? You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
But like I said, Malo, I came up differently. I came up, like I said, in martial art, and I came up, having something push you will make you better. It will just take you and put you in there. So me having a trainer, I don't know what we're gonna do. He might like, man, we running today. We just like,
yeah,
damn, we about to do the run. You got to do it. I like that type of command because it shows me that I have the discipline to let somebody tell me and push me past that
yeah.
threshold. And I think that's one of the best things for me because I know myself. I like to be pushed.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
like to be challenged. Challenging yourself is one of the dopest things, and that helps me spiritually and mentally because it makes you understand some of the things that we think. It's all about discipline. I like
Yeah.
a lot of people lack discipline, so everything is kind of like broken up. You know what I mean? It's broken up because truth to the matter, man, I've seen people at the gym and they just on the treadmill, reading a book. And I'm like,
Yeah.
bruh. Like, and you could just and they just cruising through it. And they'll
Yeah,
literally get
yeah.
off the treadmill and they be like, oh yeah, man, I had a great workout. I'm like, how great was that workout though? Like you did what was comfortable to you, you know? And just
Exactly. Yeah.
being comfortable scares me, bro. It,
Yeah.
it scares it scares the hell out of me because I understand what comes with comfortability. And this is the reason why, us we've connected and I've connected in the community. I just want us to not be so comfortable and get on our pins, get little pins and needles, man. You know what I'm saying? Because when
Yeah.
life hits you with that curve, when even when the pandemic happened, when that curve happened, people, oh my God, I'm like, bro, I'm still going outside and I'm still working out. Through that whole pandemic, I
That's
worked out.
right. That's
I worked
right.
out. They might have had all the gyms closed. I worked out. Me and my trainer, we was in his garage, bro.
That's right.
In
Yeah.
his garage, bro. It was cold, bro. I'm talking about it was so cold. It was like 35, and he lived on this hill, and we was just in there, just we was getting it in, and it was cold,
That's
but
right.
my body warmed up. It was spiritual for me because it's like, bro, what's gonna happen when that day come when you challenge with some stuff? You gonna fold, or you
Oh
gonna you
man,
or you gonna
yes.
are you gonna step up to the challenge? So for me, even with this music, it's all about how do I push myself? Like I said, I've been in the game a long time. Been in it since I was 14. A lot of the people that I've known been in the business, it's not that they're not dope, it's that they stop growing.
Mm,
They stop growing. Their minds stop growing because they were told they're old. They were told technology is this is the new way, and this is how you do it, and this is where you should be going. And so now you're mentally, I mean, I know some guys that just didn't even make the transition to learn how to send wave files and send,
yeah.
like I know cats that don't even know how to send wave files. I'm like, what's going it's pros and cons of life. The moral to what I'm trying to say is that, when you're working out, I work out for the spiritual part to push myself past the threshold. So I know that if I push like that, I'm gonna be able to push in everything. I'm gonna be able to really, really buckle down and say, because you don't want to push in one direction, you don't push in all your areas in your life. You know what I
That's
mean?
right. Yeah.
Everything in your life is spiritual. Whether people believe it or not, they wonder why they wake up with depression, or they worry why they wake up, feeling down, or why they have anxiety, or why they have that. A lot of it is because you're not spiritually tapped in. It
Mm,
don't matter what you work on or what. Like I talked to you the other day, you was just coming from church. You know what I'm saying? So you're tapping in. You're
yeah.
tapping in. Like, man, I really spiritually want to tap in, physically tap in. You're doing all these things, and you're continue to grow. Your audiences continue to grow. You know what I'm saying? And you're always opening up your mind to push the boundaries of what you're doing with your own purpose. And that's incredible, bro. I'm proud of that, man. I love seeing that, bro. Like for real.
Yeah, man. And you know what you said, Sam, and that's something that I noticed too. Like going to the gym, it sucks having to go to the gym. I mean, I've been going to the gym for like, man, I'm almost close to 10 years. But
Yeah.
going to the gym consistently, I had a friend actually just he's like, "Hey, man, I want to go to the gym with you, man. I want to get big." And he's like, "If I don't see results in 3 months, I'm done with this. I'm gonna quit." And I was like, "Man, you already quit. Like
You are
you don't show up."
you hit
Yeah,
it on
yeah.
the
I'm like,
nose.
don't
You hit it
show
on the
up. Like,
nose. You
don't
already
look for a quick what is it, like a 3 month transfer, which you'll look
Yep.
different in 3 months, but it's about what you just said, like
So
pushing
so
your
let me so
limits.
so let me comment on what you just said. Because that goes back. See, a lot of people are gonna take this information, think, oh, we just talking about the gym and we just talking about working. No, it all coincides. So what you just said is that he's looking for the quick results. Well, ain't that the same thing with a lot of people in the music business? They think they get a drum machine. Oh man, I'm about to be on. It's like everything is a process. If you just go through the process, you can achieve it. But see, people take all the shortcuts and all the things that they take, and then they wind up setting themselves all the way back to the beginning.
Mm,
You dig what I'm saying? Because there's no shortcuts, bro, in this game. Especially when you talk about having it up here, that knowledge.
yeah,
One thing a person can't take from you in life is your knowledge. They can cheat, they can have gatekeepers, they can have people that hate, they can have people that do all kinds of stuff to you, but they can't take the knowledge.
yeah,
Your knowledge is the biggest thing that keeps people surviving, even when you don't have the powers that be behind you. You know what I mean? We would
Yeah.
all like to have a big machine behind us, right? I mean, I know people that would love to have Warner Brothers and, Sony and all of these companies behind them. But I don't think people realize that we are Sony. We
Oh
are
man,
Warner
yeah.
Brothers. We are that. But you have to start thinking that you that. And it all starts by you not cheating the process.
That's right.
When you don't cheat the process and you stick and you learn your craft. I just talked about this other day. It's like, I don't care what machine people have. Learn it. Just learn it. Understand it. You know what I mean? It'll be very hard for somebody to school you on something that you've practiced on your whole
Oh
life.
man, yes,
You know what I
yes.
mean?
Yes.
You feel what I'm saying?
No,
I don't
that's and something that actually even helps me even through working out. I was working out when at a very young age, and again, I would just show up. And one thing that I learned through it is it teaches me a lot in life because working out, as long as you show up and you do like 1 plus 1 equals 2. So it's so basic that it taught me consistency, not only consistency, but if you stick to your diet, you're going to have results. Like, and
yeah.
no matter what, I also had a coach, and he would see like I'm not consistent with my diet, so he would tell me like, "What's up?" Like, "What's going on?" It's not what I'm telling you. It's just
Right.
have you been getting your macros in? And I'm like,
Right.
"No, I'm not." Have you doing your cardio? Like, man, I've been slacking off. So
Yeah.
it's not that I'm lying to anybody, but I'm lying to myself. But the same exact principle, because I was able to go from I actually posted a body transformation not too long ago. But I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I saw that transformation. What did I do? I just showed up. I stick to the plan, and as long as I commit and I have consistency, I'm going to have results. So same thing with music, man. You show up, and as long as you're consistent, this is what I tell a lot of people: just have patience. It's a lifestyle. It's not like you said. It's not something where it's like, you know what, in 2 months I want to sound like this or sound like that. There's people that have been doing this for their entire life. So it's a lifestyle. So don't
Yeah.
think about it as a 2 week program or
Yeah.
a 1 week program. Like, just enjoy it, man. Have fun in the process. That's what it's about. Like me right now, when I go to the gym, I enjoy it. I'm not even trying to check out my pump or to see how I look. I'm just, this is my life. I enjoy it.
Right.
It's a part of who I am. So it's a
Right.
bit different.
It's become second nature. It's become like
Yeah.
walking and talking. It's just natural because you know that it's going to inspire that whole day and it's going to motivate you to have actually a better day when it's all
Yeah.
said and done. But yeah, I mean, everything you're saying is correct, man. It's like, every move that we make, we should be studying how we should be trying to go. So many
Progress.
people,
Yeah.
they're studying in the mindset of, how can I cheat the process? How can I? You really can't cheat the process. You really can't. I tell people, half the people that I know that cheated the process, they have gotten popular. I would be lying to say they didn't get popular, you know? But popularity and success are two different things, you know? I've seen people that get popular and they have they run and then nobody wants to hear them ever again because they
Oh
didn't
man.
really build a real solid foundation. You
Wow.
dig what I'm saying? Building a
Yeah.
solid foundation and being popular are two different things. You can make a person popular overnight. You put them in the right position, you give them the right campaign, they'll be an overnight success, and everybody will like them for that moment. But one thing about people and real people, and even though there's a lot of phony people, they still got real feelings.
Yeah.
Even the phony people can see when you being kind of bamboozled, when you know that this is not the real. That's why you see these artists that we love. And like, what happened to them? I don't know. I
Yeah.
ain't really like them anyway. I just like that. You hear people say that, right? They're like, I didn't really, I kind of like them singles because they didn't really start a real foundation. That's why I tell anybody that does music, put your music out. Get you an artist if you really believe in
Yeah.
your music, because trying to place your records, that's that's kind of difficult, especially in 2024. Because, like I said again, when you have the industry now has made it where they put their own people in position. It's a crazy
Mm,
industry. It, like I said, I hate the word, but that's the only word you can use when you talk about gatekeepers. They keep it where you really can only go so far if you don't play that game. And
gotcha.
this is the reason why it's great for you, because you're your own person. You can build your own thing. If you right now say, man, one of these beats that I worked on, you know what, man, I got an artist that I think is dope, and you start putting stuff around your artist, Malo, you'll go to a whole nother level, because now not only you showing people your production, now you're taking an artist from the ground, like a ground root,
Mm,
and
mm,
you're putting fire back into the game. Every artist that I've ever blown up was artists that were unknown.
yeah,
They were unknown artists. That's how I got my reputation. I, People can't say, "Oh, no, Ski just started off with Ice Cube and Jay-Z," and no,
yeah, right,
all the artists I started off, they didn't have no names. Master P didn't have no name. Locksmith didn't have no name. Uh, 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 um, Go on. Spice One. You know, saying the list go on of people that I was able to build from, and that allowed the production to be heard on a different level
right.
now, because I don't have to go and conform music to what's already in the system. You know, that's
Wow,
why a
yeah,
lot of people that do their music today, they do their music based upon, okay, well, only way for me to get on is, okay, well, this is working, and all right, this is going on. Okay, Drake and Kendrick, they going at something, so I need to beef with somebody, so I'm gonna make up a beat.
ah,
You know, like people will do stuff contrived on what they see instead of
yeah,
their heart. You know, your heart is gonna dictate how you stay in this culture. You dig what I'm saying? So I'm really a firm believer on, you just have to have that passion and give 200% of what you do. And the reason why I had you on here, man, because we was chopping it up about a few things that we was on. Man, you don't know, we was on the phone for about 2 hours, man.
yeah.
We
That's
was on
right,
the
man.
we was on the phone for about 2 hours chopping it up, and it's dope, man, because it's very hard to talk to people that's in your field, because most people that's in your field, they only want to talk about what's going to help them get where they want to get,
Yeah.
instead of talk about how do you work on being good to get where you want to get.
Oh man, yeah,
See, because you see the difference in that conversation. They want to talk to me on where they want to get, and I want to talk to you about you being good at what you want to get to. Two different conversations.
that's
So
right.
sometimes when I'm talking to people, they only listen to, I just want to get my music out there. Yeah, but your music is not great. It's not great. You're not studying it. You're not working hard. You're not, you use the internet is a dangerous place, Malo. It's a very dangerous place. And this is why I tell a lot of content creators, they got to be careful, because they be a part of the misleading of the community by what they say and how they push their agenda based upon whatever it is. That's why when you start talking about people being shields for companies and this and that, it's a very dangerous place, and it's a fine line, because are you really going to enhance the minds of the normal person that know nothing about the industry, don't know nothing, anything, and you're really going
Mm,
to
yeah,
educate them on how to program, how to work certain things, how to do certain things? What is your expertise? Okay, is
yeah,
your expertise tutorials, blah blah blah? Is your expertise showing people really the music business of it?
that's right.
How there's so many things, and so when people watch so much, they get their mind is just like, oh, I seen this over here, and I seen this over there, and I seen
Yeah,
this over there. See, and you seeing so much, but I don't know if you're seeing what you're supposed to see for your
yeah,
purpose, you know? So, I really, really, saying, admire the fact that you stay in your lane and your niche,
yeah,
and you don't try to go and just go out beside stuff and say stuff that you like, well, I'm just speculate. Because there's a lot of
yeah,
speculate talkers. People just talk out of speculating what it is, but never been through the soil. Have you seen them boxing announcers, man? Where it's a boxing fight, and the announcer ain't never boxed in his life. Hey man, he should
yeah,
have do that jab, and he should do. It's like, bro, you ain't never boxed. How you know what he's supposed to do? You ain't never been in that situation to be able to say what he should
yeah,
have did, because you don't know the situation and the pressure he felt while he had to turn and switch a certain way. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's the world we live in. We live in the outsider world that can dictate to you how you do what you do when you've done it at such a high level. You know,
Mm, yeah,
people are comfortable with that. And what they do, they regurgitate information online, and then they spit it back wrong. You know
Oh
what I'm
man,
saying?
yeah.
I mean, it's just like you talk to your homie. Hey man, bro, man, dude, I went up to the McDonald's, man, and I seen this girl, man, and man, she looked at me, gave me a number, and then he go tell his friend, yeah, man, my dude, he went to Burger King, man, and then he said that they gave her a number, and he threw it in her face, and then she threw a drink in his mouth. He's like, bro, I didn't say that, dude. I did not say that. You're gonna, that's what happens when people get too much information and they don't and they process information because it's too much in their head. And they're like, well, I thought he said Burger King. Did he say McDonald's, Chick-fil-A?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
said one of them fast food. You dig what I'm saying? Because they ain't focused on the information, man. The information, that's why too much information kills.
Yeah.
It can kill. Not I mean, like mentally kill, But I'm proud of you, bro. I'm proud of you, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. It's so crazy because I feel like even now, as time goes on, even for me, when YouTube first came out, oh, I love it, and I still do. I still enjoy YouTube. But what I've noticed now, what you said right now is what I've gone through, where I'm just it's so much information, which at first is good. It's good. I'm enjoying. I like learning new things. But the way the algorithm works, or the way just Instagram or YouTube is just nonstop coming at you left and right. And then there's politics, and then there's music, and then there's funny, stupid videos, and then there's this, and it's just so much information where it's like, man, I gotta unplug, or I just gotta disconnect. Versus back then, we are actually just talking on the phone when we used to. I would get magazines and kind of read through it, so it's very slow pace. But I would chew off of any little chunk that I would get, and I would focus on that and try to perfect that or try to copy it, because at that time I would try to copy because I didn't know anything. So I would just like, you know what, let me copy what this guy's doing and just try to learn and understand what he meant when he wrote how to produce a beat using the Excel, right?
And you
So
know what?
once I
And
felt comfortable, yeah,
And I want to say this real quick. Don't lose that thought. I just want to elaborate on what you said. And I know that you're being consistent with what you're saying because we just was chopping it up and you was like, yeah, man, I used to subscribe to Sound on Sound
yeah,
magazine. And I said, oh, you know about that? I was
yeah,
like, wow. I said, man, not too many people know about those magazines and
yeah,
what it was called, mixed magazines and all these
yeah.
magazines. So I was like, okay, Malo on his thing, man. So I know what you're saying is very consistent. I just want to add that in there. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
and it's different, like I would chew off of small pieces, and I would just repeat it until I felt comfortable. Then when I felt comfortable, it's like, okay, now let me do some creatively, because I can't be creative if I don't know what I'm doing. So if I'm still in the learning process, how can I get creative? That's a lot of times I tell that to people, or, they're learning the MPC. I'm like, man, understand, make some whack beats and embrace it, have fun, like don't worry about making a good beat. Just worry about getting your own unique flow. Once you feel comfortable with how to run the machine or the information that you've received, that's when you can start getting creative and start doing your own twist to it. So a lot of times it's just being able to learn the right information and being comfortable with whatever it is that you're learning until you start being creative and add your own twist to it.
I totally agree, man. I think people see when I post a lot of stuff and they love a lot of stuff, but they don't see all the bad stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because, bro, and this is what I talked to Ski Beats about. This is like a dojo. I gave an example live about maybe 2 weeks ago. I was we was training these fighters and they was practicing, they was sparring. And the fighter that's actually going for his title belt, he got hit with a kick,
yeah,
accidentally. I mean, it wasn't, but it kind of injured him. So everybody's mad at the dude that injured him. And so I'm looking at all the coaches like, why are you mad at the dude when they're sparring? He didn't deliberately try to hurt him.
yeah.
The dude got hit with a kick sparring, and it hurt him up to a fight day. That's what happens when you're in the dojo.
Mm,
But as I broke it down to him, I said, well, let's think about it like this. Wouldn't you rather that happen here than in the actual fight?
ooh, yeah,
And then when they was like, you're right. Because he got hit with it here. If he get hit with it out there,
yeah,
he lose the title. So what are we talking about? Right? So when you're in the studio, this is the place to make mistakes.
Oh man,
This is
yeah.
the place. This is the place for you to be trash. I say that all the time, but I don't say trash the way people think I say trash. I say trash because you're not working hard to get great.
Yeah.
Your trash mentality is what makes you trash. Everybody is trash. We all working to get to where we want to get to. It always start off as not good. But when you start trying to let these social platforms put you in a position where you're posting stuff you know you're not ready to post, man, just
Mm,
be whack in the dojo, bro. Just
man,
keep
yeah.
sparring and getting punched in the face and kicked and punched. And eventually you're gonna be blocking everything.
That's right. Yeah.
Now you blocking, now you seeing stuff. Now you can see stuff a mile away, right? Now you at the point now where it's like, now I'm ready to go test the opponents. Now I'm ready to post some stuff up.
Yeah.
Now I'm ready to see who's out there that's got stuff just as good as me. Steel sharp as steel. Oh, he got something. Let me let him hear that. And now you start getting people saying, "Whoa, that's kind of nice." Now you inspire other people to get in the studio and start working. You
That's
dig what I'm
right.
saying? Man, I've had cats like that. Pete Rock hit me like, "Ski, that beat you hit, man. That beat you posted." They hit me in the DM all the time. They like, "Bro, that beat is crazy." Or Buck Wilder hit me, or Lord Finesse, or Ski Beats. All of these legends will hit me because of something that I made that inspired them. So now they go turn on their machine.
That's right.
That's what we should be doing. But there's more of a community that just want to post stuff just to post it to feel like they're a part of something, and they
Yeah.
haven't studied and went in that dojo and got a couple of beats and bruises up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Get beat up a little bit before you start coming out for competition. Because I'm gonna tell you, you know, you was only as good as the perception, man. If that dude would have went out there and didn't go through that sparring, and then by the fact, by and for all means purposes, he won the title fight. He won.
Yeah.
So even though he got hit with that kick, that warmed him up. Like, hey, this thing can happen. If it can happen in practice,
Yeah.
why wouldn't it happen in the real world, right? Man, it's about how you think about life, man. Life is about how you think about it. And a lot of people think from an emotional point of view. And I tell
Mm.
people, man, listen, everything is emotional. But if you don't start learning how to just lose some of the emotions and start now putting a reality check, okay, I'm emotional. Now, how do I make it be real time where I put those emotions aside
Oh
and
man,
do
yeah.
what's going to help me make a better move for my career? You said something the other day that I wanted to just, if I could have plastered those words on my page, what you said the other day was exactly what did you said. Oh my goodness. You said everybody say they're hobbyists and everybody, just feel like they're doing what they're doing, but everybody wants to be somebody.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what you said. And I had said the same thing. So it was so crazy you said that. Because I said everybody said they're hobbyists and they disregard, oh man, I don't have to do this. I'm just having fun with it. But if it blew up, you would be damn happy because nobody does stuff just to be a
Yeah.
hobbyist. Nobody. Nobody just going there like, oh man, I'm just making this beat for myself. No big deal. No, man. If you had an opportunity, somebody came and said, man, that's dope, you'll be working even harder to go even harder because now you're
Yeah.
getting some validation. You said that. So elaborate on what you were saying so they would know from your perspective.
Yeah, so it's like, I'll make music, and could be like, you know what, this is just something for fun. And at least one thing that hits me is I'll be making music until it sounds damn good, right? So you think it's like, or it's just a hobby. I might say it's just a hobby for me until it actually starts sounding good, and you start taking yourself serious. So at least for me, I've had those moments where I'm making a track and it is not always a good sounding track. And I have always said this, like, out of like 5 or 7 beats that I make, I'll probably like one that I'm like, yo, this one's it. Like this one's very good.
Mhm.
But when you start listening to yourself, and you start really believing in yourself, that's when you kind of go from, you know what, maybe I really do want to do this. We're actually just talking about that, and talking about that, I got my hands on these right here. And I had to mention this. I have to mention this because when I popped this in, I was just, there's times where I'm just blocked. I can't think of anything, or I can't come up with anything. I popped this in, and it's inspiration. For me, I'll hear some drums. At least for my drums, if I hear some good sounding drums,
Yeah.
Like that changes my perspective with whatever types of chops I put on top of that. As a matter of fact, I can have some okay sounding chops, but if the drums are knocking, if the drums sound the way it should sound already in my head, oh man, like my inspiration just kicks in at 100%. So I've
Mm.
always said that, like, even there's some beats that I've listened to that I'm like, you know what? Why do I like this so much? Like the chops or the sequence of it is not, it's okay, but it's just the way it sounds with the drums or the way everything comes together that I'm like, it's the whole entire picture, the sound quality of it. I've always said that that's a huge thing for me. Whatever samples that I choose, the sound of it, like the sound quality of it, I like more than the melody that's being played. So same
Right.
thing with drums. Like there's some drums that either they just get buried or they just get lost with my sample chops. Or there's some drums like right here, every kick that I would throw on top of my samples, I'm like, yeah, that's just cutting through the sample, whatever frequency, or I don't know if it's like low mids that they're on, but it just cuts through my samples the way it should sound. Like it's the way I envision it to sound. So it's crazy. I probably went off topic right there, but to
No,
me,
no, no.
I'm
I mean, bro,
very
like I said again, man, I mean, just to see you with the EA ski, cassette thumb drive and
yeah,
you excited about it because that's initially why we got on here, but we got so much other stuff that we could talk about because it's not just about my drums, it's about your mindset of
yeah,
these drums. Like I told you, I initially didn't make these drums for people. They was just my personal arsenal. I really had got tired of trying to find drums when I'm inspired. You know how hard it is. Anybody that's a producer on here, what's up with it? I see my brother something. Shout out to something. Um, and everybody that's on here, man. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even do my roll call today, man, but I want to give a big shout out to everybody that's on here, man. I see you too, Papa. You know what I'm saying? Coheed Studio, Endorser, what's up with it? Tune, what's up with you? Creative Tunes, Dr. Indy, Big Sauce, what's up with you, homie? Tony Boy, what up with it? Reek, what up with it, Reek? What's going rock and roller? What's good with you, my brother? Melvin, what's up with you, homie? I see all my folks on here, the producer you didn't count on. What's up with y'all, man? I see you, DL. What's happening, brother? You know what I mean? Everybody that's on here, man, showing love. Daniel, what's up with the Rainmaker? What's good, sir? Brother Blink, what up with it, homie? What's good? What's good? Dr. Fingers, what's up with it, homie? OC Drummer, what's up with it? Funny Farm, what up with it? Beats and Tapes, what's happening with you? Yeah. Son, what's up with you? Yeah, I just want to just give a big shout out to all the people. Uncunning, what's up with it? Everybody. Chin, what's up with you, Chin? Pat Banks, what's up with it? Daniel, what's up? Everybody, man, we got my brother Malo in here, man. We just chopping it up a little bit. Our Bemis, what's up with you? Chris Davis, what's up with it, homie? Yes, indeed, man. Some. What's up with it, fam? Free agent, what's up? Kenner, what up with it? Kenner Carbon Vibes, what's up with it, Doc? Nothing but love. William Johnson, Born, what's up with it? Grumpy Eye, what up with it? Coheed Studio, what's good? Salute to all my riders, man. I appreciate everybody, man. Um, like I was saying, man, the whole conversation about what stemmed me to come with these drum things wasn't the fact that I needed to put drums out there. You know what I'm saying? It was the fact that we had the conversation about converters. We had the conversation on what that means to us as people that really want to have great drums. I know anybody that's been in the hip hop culture know drums is the driving force of hip hop.
mm,
Drums is the driving force of hip hop. Yeah, we love melodies, we love bass lines, we love all of that stuff. But when it comes down to it in the culture of hip hop, drums is your lifeline. Your drums ain't good, you in trouble, bro.
mm,
You're in big trouble. And this is why we go back to all them dope break beats. Why break beats are so great because of the drummers that was playing these breaks and
yeah,
giving us these amazing patterns. You know what I mean? And they would just hit and just boom, boom, bop, boom, bop. We was like, whoo. Well, we not drummers. And we've
yeah.
chopped up a lot of drum breaks and they've been used over and over and over again and time after time. So now how do we redefine moving forward in 2024? Well, there has to be somebody that's going to make some drums because now we're just getting drums that's chopped up and we're just getting them.
Yeah.
But now the source of it is how do they sound? Just because you're getting drum packs don't mean that they're quality. They just mean they're just
Yeah.
drums. And if you're a beginner and you're trying to just think that you could just put those drums in there, it's not going to work like that. It's not going to work because you're going to have to EQ them. You're going to have to do stuff
Yeah.
because they're just regular drums. They're just regular raw uncut drums. Nothing wrong with that if you know what to do with them.
Yeah.
But for those, the majority of the industry now, these are people that just come in and they just want to make beats. They don't understand sound designing. They don't
Oh
understand
man. Yeah.
processing. They don't understand converters. So when I was having a conversation about converters and how important it is and what made my generation so great, we came up on having machines that just sound amazing. Did I know that the 3000 was going to sound that great when I sampled something in there? No. I was new to it. It just did because they were
Yeah.
concerned with sound at that time. The ASR 10, the SP 1200, the 60, all of these machines were sound. So I had the luxury of being able to sample stuff in there, and it was like, whoo! Like right now, I can go to my 3000 and sample a kick, and it'll sound better than the kick,
Yeah.
the actual source. It will make that sound
Wow.
even better because of what's hitting in the inside of the machine. That was the conversation. So I started understanding people didn't understand that conversation. They were trying to understand it, but it was taking them a little bit to
Yeah.
understand what is Ski meaning by converters. What did that mean? I just thought, because a lot of cats had the machines and they were dragging and dropping. I'm like, well, why would you drag and drop when you have an input and an output? Like,
Mm.
even if the machine is not as good as a converter as I want it to be, you still got to hit it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it do have some type of conversion. You're not even hitting that. You're bypassing it. So to make a long story short, man, I just like, you know what? I'm just gonna make my drum kits available so people can hear what I hear. And man, people was like, oh my God, these drums are amazing. They're amazing. But that was all by accident. It wasn't like I was trying to put them out there. I just got really to the point where people just can't hear. They're not listening. They're using their eyes.
Yeah.
They're not using their ears. And this is a big reason why the music community is crashing because people are so visual that they're not trusting their ears. Trust, and this is why I tell people to go get older gear because you didn't have wave files. You had to trust your ear. You had
Mm.
to
Yeah.
trust your ear that the loop was on point. You have a 2000 XL. Well, no, you got the 2000, so it do got the wave on there.
Yeah. That one still has
Yeah, that still
waveforms
got
in
the
it.
wave on there. But yeah, like for me, the 3000, I've been in there tweaking many a times. Like, is that right? Like literally, I would have to leave for a second and come back and listen again. Like you really got to trust your ear.
That's good.
That's
Yeah.
what music is about, trusting your ear. So once they started hearing how the drums sound, I started making more. And so what you had said to me the other day about the drums, man, it's just like, man, dude, that's exactly
Yeah.
my goal. Sound
Well,
Orca, man. Give a big shout out to my brother Sound Orca, man. Another guy that makes some great drums, man. Salute to my brother Sound Orca, man. Salute to you, bro. Nothing but love and respect, man. That man is over there doing some great things, man. Check and follow my brother Sound Orca, man. Salute, man. I see you face the nation. What's good with you? So, like the conversation we were saying about the drums, you were just speaking about it.
yeah. So when you had this whole conversation with like the vintage gear, like the MPC 60, the SP 1200, I've never used any of those. I don't know how those sound. So I think when you are coming from your perspective of converters, where anybody could get confused is, well, we don't when we don't know what you're talking about, because we've never owned pieces like that before, it's hard to understand where you're coming from.
For sure.
When I actually got these right here and I heard it, there's the SSL drums, and I think it was the SP 1200 drums, where I was listening to this and I'm like, God, like this sounds crazy. It sounds different. So from my perspective, since I've never heard those machines, I don't know how they sound. But when I heard these right here with the SP 1200 folder, I was like, okay, I think this is what he's talking about,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
now I hear a difference from any other sample pack that I'll pick up. And right there's where I'm like, yo, that's when I hit you up and I'm like, what's going on here, man?
Hey, I
Like,
want to
is
give a
that,
big, I want to give a shout out to Bank Hard Beats. He said, "Blessings, Ski, much love,
oh
Malo."
man,
Man, they
yes,
love you, man.
yes.
They love you. They
Oh
got love,
man.
man. They got love, man. Hey, you know what's so crazy, man? Is people don't realize these SP 1200 drums. is crazy. If y'all ain't got this, the SB12, tell them about them SB1200 drums, because that's the first thing you hit me about. She was like, "Woo, these
I think that that's where I stopped because I'm going through the whole pack. You know, let me listen to all of them. But as soon as I hit that, I hit you up, man. I'm like, yo, what's going on right here, man? Like, are you serious? Like, this is crazy. And if this is the way the SB1200 sounds, I don't
right."
know how you. I mean, what was your process when you did? Like, how did you process that, or what's your process like?
So when it was time for the SB1200, unlike all the other machines, you're gonna get their sound and their character. But the
Yeah,
SB1200 has a distinctive sound in that ring.
I heard
It's
of
just,
that. I heard of that.
you
Yeah.
heard it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the thing. I've never heard of SB. I've never had one. I've never seen one in real life,
Right.
but I heard it. Yes, that's why.
So
That's when I called you, and I'm like, "Yo, man, like, what's going on? What's the
right.
process on that?" Yeah,
So the process, man, was basically, when you do that, and like I said, with most of the machines, you can't drag and drop. And I think I told you this when we were talking,
yeah,
is that I wanted to have some drums that sounded so dope, especially for the ones that was spending 4 grand on an SC on my SC.
mm,
Shout out to
yeah.
everybody that bought my SB 1200 SC. We made history, man. We sold out in 4 days, man.
Wow, wow.
And I salute everybody that really trusted in my decision on to have a machine that sounds as great as an SB 1200 in my special edition. So my biggest thing, Malo, was now I got to come up with some drums that's gonna really get my point across. Because
Yeah,
now like I told you, there's thresholds. Once you get in a position where people hear where you're coming from, you have to now push it to the next level.
mm,
And I can't just give you drums that's just gonna be like it's like now I'm pushing myself. Like, okay, what I'm gonna do to make these drums really,
yeah,
when the audience hear it, to go, especially the ones that get the SB 1200 SC, they like, man, I spent 4 grand. I better get some dope drums. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So I got in there and I started working on just making sure that, one, I was buying a lot of new outboard equipment. I was getting a
yeah.
lot of different stuff. I got the G bus compressor. I was getting all kinds of just new stuff, that I could process and really make stuff sound really thick and big. And then what I was doing was sound designing, getting the drums to sound the way I wanted to. And then one of the big things that I did was, once they were sounding good, then I had to sample them into the machine. Now
Mm,
this is where the
mm,
magic. This is
okay.
what I'm talking about, the converter magic. The drums was already sounding amazing
Yeah,
because I had already sound designed it, did what I need to do. It wasn't until I started running the good sounding drums into the converter of the SB 1200, and I would let it clip a little bit. Anybody know what that
yeah,
clip, like, where it says it just clipped a little bit?
yeah, yeah.
That magic from that alone, game changer.
Oh
It just
man, yeah,
it just starts shaping up everything that I already did that sounded good, started shaping it up more. And you got to go and sample every last one of them into the machine. And now you're getting that magic now of that SP 1200 with a little bit of that clipping on there. So now you're getting that type of processing along with the processing I did away from the machine. And that's that converter that I'm talking about. It's hitting that converter and giving it a whole nother just dynamic range,
you could hear it. Yeah, you could hear it, and I mean that's why I had even mentioned like I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's that small little touch of saturation or clipping, but
Yep.
it cuts through all my samples, and I'm
Yep.
like, yeah, man, like I'm the type of person, and I've said this so many times. I chop up my samples, and I like to just audition kicks and snares on top of the sample that I'm gonna be working with because if I can mix it like that just by listening to what kick I'm going to select, then I know half the battle is done. When I come down to mixing process, I don't have to do a lot to it because I already selected the right kick for that sample. So as I'm going through the kicks, I'm like, that cuts, that one cuts, that one cuts. I'm like filling up all my pads. I'm trying to just fill up 4 pads for
Right.
kicks. Usually I just try to stick with 4, but I'm like,
Right.
filling up 8 pads of kicks. I'm like, yo, that's way too many kicks, man. But they all cut through the mix
Right.
because
Right.
that's what I do. I don't know which I'm going to select, but I will program the ones that are cutting through the sample that I'm going to be working with, and then later on I'll select. All right, I'm going to stick with this one. So I try to narrow it down like that. But right here, I have them all filled up because they're all cutting through the mix. So whatever characteristic it is, I don't know if when you hit it harder with the preamps or the
Yeah,
converters,
yeah,
if it gives it more of that character of
it
the
does.
SP1200 sound, because they
It
all
does.
have this unique sound. I don't know if it's like the ring that it has. I'm
Yeah,
not sure what it is, but
yeah,
it just sounds so pleasant. I'm like,
it does.
yes, these are it. These are it, man.
Bro, that's exactly what it is. And you can't teach that unless people experience it. You
There you
know,
go.
I mean, I
Yes.
tell people, like, even if you get somebody that have a machine and you can't afford one, just get a chance to see what it do, and you'll start seeing why these machines are so expensive, why they're
Yeah.
so sought after. It's a reason why they're so sought after. This is not a myth. This is not a gimmick. It's like these machines bring a lot of power to your thing. And you said a key thing, bro. That's exactly what I wanted. I wanted you. It's better to have more options to put all your stuff on there and say, man, I can go to any one, and now you can just go for whatever texture you're going for, than to just have, just stuck with what you got. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you just make that work. I'd rather have more options because
Yeah.
I can go in between different kicks and snares, like, whoo, all of them sound good, but this one fits right with this sound. I would like to have those type of options. And that's why, sound designing for me, it is tedious work though.
Yeah.
It is tedious work. The vintage samplers clipping just hits different. Exactly. Sound Orca know. Sound Orca know. Sound Orca be making some dope drums, man. He knows. He knows. Shout out to my brother, man. My rider. Sound Orca is a rider, man. He's a real one. He's a real one, man. Thank you, brother, for being solid, bro. It's a lot of cats that they're not solid. They seem solid, but they ain't solid.
Yeah.
He's a solid one, you another solid one. But yeah, man, I just realized that sound designing is it's tedious work. That's why when people say they have sample packs and they have this, they do and they don't. Because it's easy to just chop stuff up and say, okay, here's my samples, take
Yeah.
them. And this is why you kind of don't like a lot of the sample packs, because they're just raw, uncut stuff. But cats like me or a sound oracle or certain people that's really, really focused on really shaping stuff up so it can sound good and pleasant to the ears of the consumers, that takes work, man. That takes
Oh, yeah,
work.
you could tell there's process behind this. Like you
Yeah.
could just tell right away. So that's why I didn't even get to finish all the packs that are in here
You
because
got a
I'm
lot
like,
of
oh
packs in
man,
there, man.
yeah, man. So that's why I was like, I called you right away, and I'm like, what's going on here, man? Like this stood out. This stood out like a sore thumb, and I'm like, it almost feels like I bought a brand new MPC. Like
Right.
I feel like this made my MPC like just sound different. So that's why for me, I'm like. I get inspired. There's times where I just don't, I don't know, like I just can't come up with nothing fresh. So for me, and I told you this the other day too. I was like, I love buying sample packs because there's just different people with different sounds. And when I purchase somebody's sample pack, it just sparks up new creativity. So I'm like, all right,
Sure.
cool. I'll work with this and I'll run through these drum breaks that I have right here, whatever it is. But when you have good sounding drums, like right here, I'm actually like I feel re-inspired and I'm like, oh man, I have so many beat ideas. I think I told you I made like 2 beats in one day that
Yeah,
I
yeah.
felt really
Oh,
happy
and that
about. I
beat
was
you sent me, hey, that beat you sent me, bro, crazy.
yeah, man. See, yeah, and that's not, I didn't stand that out. I just hit export MP3 from the key. So
But
I'm
the
like, yo,
drums were
this
so
is yeah,
heavy.
it's
I was like, and it was coming through my phone. I was like, what?
there you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Woo!
yeah. It's not mixed. So that's the thing. I think there's especially nowadays, you're a producer, you're the mixing engineer, and then you're the mastering engineer. You have to wear all these hats. For most people, that's what they'll do. So when you have something that the drums, like I don't want to EQ those drums, I don't want to compress those drums. Like they just sound good the way they are already. So that's why I'm kind of thinking more in the creative side, and I was able to send you that beat. I was like, I didn't mix it. I didn't master it. I just export it, but it sounds good to me. So I feel like I can focus more on the production side and be more creative when I'm listening to some drum breaks that I put on top. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have to EQ that later. Or I'm going to have to add some compression on that. I'm going to have to bring this to life. I actually just made a video on that and I was working with some drum breaks. But man, I had to like put plug in after plug in and then it sounded good.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm like, yo, I
yeah.
don't want to do that all the time.
Right. And on a side note, Sound Orca said, man, salute to you, man. He watch your videos all the time. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
man, thank you. Thank
Man,
you.
that's saying a lot, man, for somebody like a Sound Orca to take his time out of his day to find a channel that inspires him, that says a hell of a lot, Malo. You know what I mean?
Thank you, thank
You
you.
know, and but it's a give a testament that you're doing what you're supposed to do, and you stand in your purpose, and you're doing what you're supposed to do. And we salute you, brother. I salute you. I
Thank
totally
you, thank
salute
you.
you because I see the integrity and the sincerity of what you're doing with your music, how you're trying to teach, how you're trying to be transparent through your whole life process, and that's very important, man. We get lost into trying to make people feel like we have to. We Everybody want validation, but your validation come by just being you.
Oh
Just
man,
be
yeah.
you. Just be you. I tell people, I'm just me. I don't have a problem. I don't feel like I'm EA ski and I can't come on here and share knowledge. I've been blessed. That's why I call it God's hour. I've
Oh
been
yeah.
blessed. God has allowed me to do this at a high level. I didn't have YouTube. I didn't have nobody. I mean, I told you, I came up in the era. People wasn't sharing sharing their drums. They'd kill you if you had their drums. They're like, you got my drum. How'd you get my, that was that like the things that's going on today didn't happen. It was
Yeah.
so secretive. You know, People are not going to tell you how to compress and EQ and how they did this and how they ran it through this. They not, man. It's a story, man, on my homie Teddy Riley, man, on how he would go in the studio and he would bring out a drum machine and he would just be in there and working and doing stuff, right? And in the session and doing that, as soon as everybody left, he'll pull out the real drum machine. He didn't want nobody to know, what he was working on, which is crazy. That's a crazy story. And whether it's real or not, I believe it to be more real because people didn't want people to know
Wow.
what they were doing. It was a secret to this culture. So me trying to share and up people on how you go about getting your music to sound amazing. Like people think about workflow, and I get it. The way we used to work. See, workflow works for us now. In my generation, I tell you why. Because we've had to work so long that now
Ah,
seeing
yeah.
this technology, we're like, oh man, we can work. But I
Yeah.
tell all my OGs, don't let workflow get you away from what made us great.
Mm.
And it wasn't workflow. It was actually us working harder to develop our ears and the sound. So you starting to see a lot of cats that we respected, and you're like, what happened to them? Well, they got away from their sound. They got away.
Mm.
A lot of these DAWs, a lot of these digital workflow things have changed the sound of some of your favorite producers. So they don't sound as, ooh, how they used to hit you with the kicks. They sound a little bit thinner now, because of their work,
Mm.
the way they're thinking about the work. The workflow will get you away from what work. I'm a firm believer that I can
Oh man.
add, I'm a firm believer that I can add to my repertoire. I don't want to subtract. Listen again. I don't have a problem with workflow. But if I get away from what made me sound good, then I've lost my legacy because you
Mm.
don't want to hear EA ski sounding thin and loud and the kicks ain't sounding the way they used to bang. That you're just gonna be like that ain't it. So I tell people it's dangerous for people that's come from my era because they've gotten rid of all their old vintage machines. Oh, I can do it all in this now. I just this one machine. And I'm like, yeah, you can, but you're gonna need some other stuff to compensate
Yeah.
to get the sound to sound as immaculate as the way you used to sound because you remember we was going through tape machines, we was going through analog consoles,
Mm.
where we're getting all of this saturation and harmonic distortion. So we was getting the stuff that made us sound good. So you're losing that when you start just going into this whole new era and not know you need the other stuff to back it up to keep
Mm.
your consistency along with still be able to be in a modern time because it's okay to be modern, but you don't want to lose what's made you great neither. So my attitude about it, Malo, is being hybrid. You know, I got my analog stuff, and now I can work hybrid. Now I can have my analog stuff, and then I can hit the plugins here and there, and
Yeah.
and it gives me the best of both worlds because that's the best way to work, especially coming from and for anybody that want to have something that sounds big. I really truly believe you should be working in both worlds because you're gonna get the best sound and much bang for your buck, if that makes
Now,
sense.
would you say you preferably will use the MPC, and I think it would say controller mode with the MPC software due to the fact that you have plugins at your fingertips, and also now you would be using the converters of your interface, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Instead
Mm-hmm.
of just in standalone. Because
Mm-hmm.
I've always been standalone, and once I went into the DAW and started using the software, I was like, "Yo, I'm missing out." I mean, at least for me, I still work even though I'm connected to the DAW using the MPC software. I'm completely standalone
Yeah.
until I'm like, you know what? Let me use one of my plugins. So then I have my third party plugins versus when I'm in standalone, I'm just, I'm in standalone. But just being able to use now the converters of your interface being plugged in, would you say you prefer to use it in what is it, controller mode versus standalone?
I like for me personally, I like the controller mode because I have more control to do the thing. Like I said again, and this is just me critiquing. You know, the MPC to me is not a real true standalone like the 4000 to me. You
Yeah.
know, it's good for what it is, and it'll probably get better hopefully over time. But you're not able to do a lot of stuff that you can do in controller mode and standalone.
Mm,
And that's just
yeah.
I don't have the time to just try to be in a standalone just to have the mindset, okay, let me be in standalone to be it's not a real standalone to me. So I'm much more comfortable in the controller mode because even when you talk about warping, when you
Mm,
want to warp, it's
yeah.
totally different than warping in
I
standalone. It
I
just
didn't know that until I tried that. Now I'm always like, I don't like warpy, man. It sounds so bad.
sounds
Until I was in, I was
see,
in the controller mode, and I
controller mode.
warped. I'm like, why does it sound so good? Like, did
It's
they
the
do an update?
controller mode, but that's because the machine is still controlled the um by the software. The software
Mm,
is where the power is at in the MPC. It's not. It hasn't became that true like when I'm in the 4000. This is a true standalone right here. This is
mm,
not. It's not a game. I could be in the 4000 all day and work on all kinds of stuff because it's going to sound exactly the way it's supposed to sound. The MPC still its crutch is the software. So until that happens, it's just best to be where all the goodies is at. You know what I mean?
yeah.
To me, I'm not the person to fake the funk and be like, oh, I'm just going to be in standalone because I can. No, bro, because I got work to do. I don't want to have to be in there like, damn,
Yeah.
now I'm settling. I don't want to settle. So why make a machine being standalone when it's not fully where I want it to be? So I'd
Yeah.
rather just stay in the controller mode, warp my stuff, get stuff sounding the way I want because that's what it's controlled. It's basically the computer. I mean, the software is controlling it. That's where it's strong at, right as of right now.
Yeah.
Maybe at some point in time it'll get stronger in the standalone mode, but to me, it's just stronger in the controller mode, and that's where it's at. So I utilize it for where it's this. Even when I was on the Kai 37, people was like, "Oh my God, you got it sounding good." Yeah, because I got my drums going through it. I got it going through the console, so it's hitting the pre's. I got the pre's set, the insert set. So once I'm hitting it, it's like, man, you got that MPC 37 sounding amazing. Yeah,
Oh man,
but
yes.
don't look at the 37. Look at the man that's controlling the 37.
Yeah.
See, we so busy looking at who's doing on what machine. It's not the machine.
Mm,
It's who's making the machine do what it tells it to do. I'm telling this machine, this is where it lacks at. So I'm going to make up for it and bring this in. I'm going to introduce you to this and I'm going to introduce you to this. 37, 37, you're going to hit this, you're going to hit this, you're going to hit this. And by the time the audience hear it, they just looking at the machine. Oh, I'm gonna get the machine because no, you're gonna be in the
yeah.
machine
Yeah.
for the wrong reason because you don't know what really went down behind closed. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just look
Yeah,
at the
man.
machine all the time. You got to look at the man that's making the machine do what it do. I know cats that have 3000s, and you be like, you ain't gonna have your 3000 sounding the way he has it sounding because
Gosh, yeah.
he knows something you don't know. You know what I mean? So we get machines for the wrong reasons. That's why you got to study your craft. I can make any machine sound amazing. I don't care what machine it is because I understand what I need to do. Let me take this super chat real quick.
Yeah.
Jay Ham, what's up with it, brother? Two people from different generations of creators having dope conversation. This would have been a hot issue of
Oh,
Scratch Magazine 20 years ago. Hey, and that's the way it's supposed to be. We should be able to come together in a
that's right.
community and give perspectives because when you have these perspectives, it can have one big conclusion once you understand the mindset of where I come from, what you're
Yeah.
seeing, and how we can merge them because they all go together. It's no separation. People separate because they're insecure. But if you hear the information, you say, damn, that makes sense. It'll all come together, and you can use both. Because I'm not against plugins. I'm not against entry level machines. I'm against having spending big dollars for stuff that don't have what it's supposed to have in it. I just think
Mm.
anybody, and this is a conversation I'll have with Andy, at some point in time, is that I'm about, when you get flagship machines, I don't have anything in here that's a flagship that don't hit hard, that don't
Mm.
punch. So I'm adamant about that. Like, bro, like, come on, we need to, anything. If I go buy $100,000 car and it's got a 4-cylinder engine in it, I'm gonna be upset.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be upset, bro. It's just no way you can get away with that. So that's a whole nother topic. But I just want people to understand I really stand firm because I've been through the soil. I've walked through this journey of trying to make sure that these companies don't get comfortable with our ignorance.
Mm.
Because that's what's happening now. A lot of companies are getting comfortable with our ignorance of just, they just want to make beats. They don't care about sound. So we're just going to give it to them, give it to them, give it to them, give it to them, give it to them. And they're going to give you so much stuff. And by the time you realize you're not elevating, it'll be too late. You're locked in a system and now you're programmed, and you'll never be getting the stuff that's going to really help you learn how to make your stuff sound amazing, because music is sound. And it's not motion picture. Motion picture is, okay, you're looking. So you want stuff to look good. You don't want to see it pencilated. Music is my ears. So I want it to sound
Oh
amazing. And
man. Yeah.
I'm always gonna encourage the culture to think about they sound first. Your sound keeps you in the game. Everybody that you ever named that you look up to is sound. Pete Rock, Dr. Dre, Kanye, Pharrell, Timberland. We can go on and on down the line. And the first thing you say, man, I love the way he sounded, the way he got that. Well, what are we talking about then? Because you're not saying, oh, I love his workflow. Whew, the way he made the workflow of the drums go, that's crazy, bro. That you're not having that conversation. So I don't understand how we get into a conversation of workflow against understanding music is designed to sound a certain way. Even when you start talking about the great late Michael Jackson, his whole theory was sound. They was putting certain sounds together just to get a certain sound he wanted to hear.
Mm.
If it didn't sound right, he's like, nah, that's not it. Nah, that's not it. And he said there was a story where something fell and it made a sound. He's like, that's it.
Oh wow.
That's
Yeah.
it. And they tried to reduplicate that sound to put in his record because he was so in the sound
Wow.
so
Wow.
much. And that's the greatest selling artist of all time. If we're not learning from the ones that's the greats, then who are we learning from now? Because that's the
Mm.
question I want to
Mm.
know now. If we're going to follow blindly, then you got to ask yourself why you're not where you want to be, because you're following stuff that really has it has no pedestal, it has no bar for
Mm.
excellence.
Mm.
Everything that a lot of people follow is pretty much misery love company. Oh, I like him because he's just like me. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good, bro. That's not good, because I'm gonna follow a sound orca, that I'm seeing doing
Mm.
certain things. I'm gonna follow a Pete Rock. I'm gonna follow a Dr. Dre. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna follow, a high tech, a KLC. I'm like, whew, you know, I don't, people think when you follow greats that it belittles you. No, it makes you better.
That's right. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
even if you're not where you want to be, these people have set a bar that you like. So now you're going to bring their bar down and tell them they're not great just because you don't feel you can get there,
Yeah. Oh man, you said it
right?
right, man. You said it so good. Even going back to us talking about going to the gym and all that, I feel the same exact way when I go to a gym, especially right now that I've been doing my move from California to Vegas. I go to a certain gym. It sounds funny, man, but exactly what you just said. When you're surrounded by a certain type of people, you're either you're going to blend in and adapt to that environment. I go to a gym where there's like some crazy looking bodybuilders, man. I go in there and I feel so small, man. I'm like,
Right, right,
yo, man, if I
right,
could just get a little bit at their level,
right,
I'll feel good. Versus
right,
I go to a gym where it's just nobody's working out and I feel big and I'm like, nah, I'm cool, man. Like I feel
right,
good. So I
right,
always like to put myself and follow people that I know that make me feel small. So where I need to work my ass off to get a little bit better. So
But you
that's
know
it's good.
what I'm noticing though is it's a change of the guard as time has went on, and and I am a firm believer. You can call it a conspiracy or whatever. I am a firm believer of new world order, meaning that the way the world is now is changing our perspective of life.
Yeah.
We're losing the quality of life based upon the narrative that they're putting out there. They're making us all be the same. They're making us think that we have to do the same thing. They're making us talk the same. They're making us, he do auto tunes. I just talked about this on my live where there's singers that really can sing that feel like they can't even make a song no more because auto tune is so big that they have to now dumb their stuff down to do
Oh,
auto tune. So now you
whoa,
got
yeah.
singers now that don't even want to use their real in key voice
Yeah.
because auto tune is so popular that they don't feel like they can make a great record without using it now because of the narrative that has been changed and shifted.
Mm,
So when these type of things start happening to us, we start believing that there's no being great. It's just let's all be the same and let's all reward each other for being whack. Because people are rewarding people for being whack. Oh man, you're so great. Whoo, that was a shitty beat. But your beat wasn't as shitty as mine, so I applaud. It's like
Yo.
it's horrible, bro. It go back to, and I'm watching this in everything, bro. I'm watching this with my nephew, when they play games and and stuff like that. Like you shouldn't be rewarded for not being the best you can be. Now
Mm,
it's like I said, I said this the other day. I said, you could beat a team 700-0, wipe them out, and they'll still come and give you a big trophy just like the one that just won. It's like, how does that even make sense? So you're gonna reward the team that just got shut out. You're gonna give them a trophy too and make them feel like, oh, it's all good. You
yeah.
didn't play a good game. You did not, you got swept, you 700-0, and you're walking away with a trophy just as big as the team that won. This is the mindset. This is called reverse psychology, reversing us to not look at where we at. There's a big difference between excellence and poor performance. And
Mhm.
now people are getting rewarded. Poor performers are getting rewarded to be excellent just because we don't want to be haters.
Mm,
Oh, I don't
mm.
want to say nothing, man. He's trash, bro. Like, no, bro. That's not good, man. That's not it. And I think bro, listen. When I came up, Malo, I'm just educating you because I know,
Yeah.
we got a little age gap, bro. If you was trash and you weren't good, they boom, get him. No hell, get him out of here. He stinks. He stink. Bro. It was serious, bro. They're like, no way, no way. But this is the cold thing. If they went back and practice, and they're like, all right, this is what you got now. Oh man, that's kind of hard, bro. Are you come over here, man. Come rock with us. People will bring you into their circle because you went and practiced.
That's right,
You're
yeah.
not ostracized. You feel ostracized because it's embarrassing because they didn't like you at that point in time. I came up in a time people wasn't listening to me because you got to remember, I came up. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I've never done nothing. I've never sold drugs. I've never mentioned none of those type of things in my topics. Right. So I came up in an era where those things was the best topics to talk
Yeah.
about rap wise, drinking, smoking, you know, those were the most popular topics. I understood that. So when you're rapping, people not sometimes if you're not rapping what's accustomed to what they're accustomed to, it can seem like you the oddball and you're
Mm,
not, you're not going to get that look you want because you're not really fitting in that bubble. But I kept on doing it. I kept on finding other ways to approach it. It made me find a way to approach my perfection,
yeah.
because I've never had to compromise saying stuff that wasn't me. I never had to do that. And I was able to sell millions and get Grammys being me because it made me work because no, I wasn't just getting the attention that some of my other peers was getting at that time. I used to be like, damn. I said, what I got to do? Start talking like that? You start thinking you have to do
Mm,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
In your mind, you start thinking, well, they getting all the attention doing what they do. It seems like if I do that, maybe they'll like me. Now that comes to your confidence and your insecurities now. Now you have to ask yourself, are you ready to blend in and fit and compromise who you are? Or are you going to find a way to show people who you are without compromising?
Mm,
That's
yeah.
where that's when you become an elite. When you figure it out with not trying to be a follower and say, okay, they ain't checking for me yet. Let me work harder. And I worked and I worked and I did what I was supposed to do to get people to see my vision. Wasn't easy. It didn't just happen like, oh, let me just do this. No, it took time, but that's God's plan. God's plan is not for you just to come up and just say, I did it. I did it. I got a beat machine, start making beats. And they, no, bro, it's for you to go through you got to go through the torture, man, before you see the light. So I tell people, man, now they got it where nobody want to be a hater. Nobody want, no, man, let's just all get along. No, bro. No, no, no. I'm not going to try to doubt. If you humble, I'm not going to just say, oh, you're trash. I'm not going to do that. I'm like, I'm not going to do that to you if you're humble, right? I'm like, look, bro, if you go about doing this, I'm going to motivate you.
That's
But
right.
if you
Yeah.
already come at me like, man, you just
Yeah,
listen
yeah.
to my stuff, man, I'm just,
Yeah.
and it ain't dope, I'm gonna go in 400 degrees on you because you sold me. You weren't humble enough to just
That's
actually
right.
listen to it. You already hyped me up, man. This is incredible, man. Bro, if it ain't incredible, I'm the last person you wanna hit me with. You better hit me with the most humblest email you can, cause I'm gonna let you have it, bro. Like, don't do that. Be humble, man. You know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's I think you have and it kind of goes back down to just self identity because if when you love something, when you're passionate for something, not that you're just trying to adapt or listen. One day you're listening to this style of music and you're trying to copy that. Another day you're listening to this and you're trying to go there and you're nowhere, right? So I think just being like having self-awareness of what you love, what you're passionate for, and again it goes back to just making it a lifestyle versus how can I do this fast or how can I sound good in 3 months from now, right? It's all about improving, and it's a lifestyle for us, right? So
Right.
it's not something that we're trying to sound like or look like. It's just something that we connect with ourselves. We're actually just talking about this. When I hear something and I get lost, man, I'm passionate and I'm like lost. My wife, my daughter, like I disappear. I'm just so focused and I'm so connected where I don't even know what's going on around me. And I feel
Right.
this even in my videos. There's times where I break, man. I'm just filming a video, I'm on topic, and I'm just like, yo, man, like I feel this ecstasy, like I feel this joy, but it's connected to myself. And I've said this, like I don't care if the whole world thought likes my style of beats or they don't like it. I'm connected, man. Like I feel so connected with myself that it just unplugs me. So I think just being able to perfect that and just repetition, right? Because a lot of the
Right.
times we'll see one type of music or we want to adapt to that, and then the next day to that, and then the next day to this, where I just get lost. I'm like, man, I can't do any of these things. But when I'm just connected to the style of music that I enjoy, the style of music that I like, man, I get so lost, man. Whether a lot of people like it or nobody likes it, I'm just very connected, and just repeating it helps me improve on myself.
I mean, dude, that's what it's all about, man. When you get lost in the music, man, that's when you come up with some of your greatest stuff. Because, like, people ask me, man, what is your thoughts when you go and you work on a beat? I don't know. I don't. I mean, I don't know how to answer that because I really don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna make. You dig what I'm
Yeah,
saying? People, a lot of people go in there like, man, I'm gonna make a party track. I'm gonna make a club. I'm gonna make a hit. I've never thought like that my whole career. My whole
that's
career,
interesting. Wow.
I've just always just kind of like, if I have an idea, I just want to see where that idea can go. I don't know. It
Yeah.
might not be. I've always been a street artist my whole career. As time went on, I started saying, you know what? I want to start learning how to make club records, records that really can
Mm,
resonate in the club. But I never really wanted to try to make radio records because I knew if the clubs liked it, the radio would jump on it because radio gonna pick up anything that's in the club anyway.
yeah.
And when I started trying to focus on making, because I like stuff that, I come from East Oakland. So I like stuff that's just, I could paint my story and tell my story, my pain, stuff that I've been through, this and that. But I started realizing as a producer, you want to be able to give them a different side of production. So every time I'm in the studio, I'm always pushing myself to do stuff that I'm not really comfortable doing.
Mm.
So when a lot of people hear um the thought of what is it, like those are some of my big records here. What is it? Hell yeah, Ride, New Oakland. Like a lot of these records were really big club and radio records. Those are not what I was comfortable doing, but those was what I practiced on doing
Mm.
because
Mm.
I knew that I liked street records better. But I said, I'm gonna practice to work on making something that had my own signature sound to it and study how I could do it in a way, because that's not, I don't like really dancey stuff. That's not, I don't really like all that,
Yeah.
because I don't
Yeah.
club, I don't go to clubs,
Yeah.
I don't dance. So there's no reason for me to really make those type of records, right? But it is a reason for me to make those records because there's other people that like to dance and have fun.
Yeah.
So I need to know how to push myself to do that. So
Mm.
what do? I go in there. What I was doing, I was going to all my DJ homies that was on the radio. I would go to clubs and I would be miserable in the club because everybody drunk,
Yeah.
everybody smelling like marijuana. I'm like, ah, yeah. And you know how you just in somewhere and you just like, like that,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
just anxiety, like, you know what I mean? I hate the club, but I was in the club every night watching the people dance to certain tempos. Like, oh, okay. I'm looking on the DJ turntable, seeing what tempo he got it on, and he's telling me the tempo, and okay, all right. I'm watching. I'm standing in the club until it closed. I'm standing in the club until it closed, man. You dig what I'm saying? And I did this for nights, for months, for months, for months, for months, listening to what elements was really making people
Yeah.
go crazy because they were going crazy. There's certain records they dance to, and certain records, they just lose their
Yeah.
mind. You're like, damn, you know, I'm teaching you that you gotta practice, man. That's what I did. That whole time of the records that I got. So when people hear these records, they say, man, we love you for this record, Ski. We love you for record. They don't know I did my homework, man. I
Mm.
was in the club every night working and studying and uncomfortable environments. I don't like being in the club. That was uncomfortable for me. But to be comfortable, you got to be uncomfortable.
Ooh. Yes.
So I did what I had to do. If I didn't do that, you would have never heard none of those records. None of those records that people love to this day that they talk about, especially in this area that know about those records, those would have never existed if it wasn't for the fact that I said I'm going to do what I have to do to train myself to learn how to make this type of music be effective from my style and how I want to present my part of club records. Because I didn't want to make the same club records the next person make. Because at that time, Little John had his style. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? He was doing his thing. You know what I mean? I needed to find my thing. So you have to study your craft and you have to always feel when you're uncomfortable, it's up to you. It's your personality. Are you looking forward to that challenge? Or are you just going to buckle and say, hey, I can't do it?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stick to what I know. Cause that's what majority of people do, man. I think of a martial artist first. I gotta challenge myself. I don't care if I can't do it. I'm gonna study it. Somebody was asking me the other day about the massive passive. Like, man, when we gonna hear the massive passive? When I study it.
Mm. Yeah.
It's not an easy EQ to just up and just start EQ. It's like
Yeah.
this is a pretty beastly EQ. You know what I'm saying? I need to learn it a little bit more, dial it in a little bit more. You'll hear it when you hear it. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
not in a rush for you to hear it. I gotta study it. I gotta do what I have to do, you know? What Sound Orchestra says, sometimes you're blessed to be able to create things that aren't even your bag. It's more of a service to other people. That's called unself. Exactly.
Mm.
That's
Yes.
exactly what I was doing. I was trying to be able to say, man, I don't have to be a person that be in the club. But I definitely want to be able to make music that for people that want to be in the club. Because what's the point of being a producer when you're just making music that you want to hear?
Hmm.
Because it's not about you. Is I should be able to make whatever it is and be able to say, okay, I'm gonna challenge myself to do that. I'm gonna challenge myself to make that and be great at it. Because you should be multi-talented as a producer. You shouldn't just be in that one box. That's how I feel.
And
That's how I feel.
That's tough, man. That's tough to be able to uh, kind of go different directions other than what I enjoy personally. I think that's what separates, you could say, probably just a beat maker versus somebody that's actually producing. Because I could make my solid tracks all day long. I could pop in one record, the next one, and it's fun for me. It's great until I kind of want to go towards a different direction or try something different that's not normal to myself. That's tough, and I totally agree with that. I try to kind of go different directions, and it's completely different for me. I'm like, man, I don't know how to work this thing. Like,
And
it's
listen,
a different machine, but it's just putting yourself in those different environments where you can learn it and listen to it. I'll listen to other tracks, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like, how are the hi hats or the kicks, the snares, and what beat do they hit on? I'm like, that's completely different from what I'm doing. So it's just being exposed to different levels or different grounds.
right? I mean, I'm just a firm believer, man, that it's like I say, fighting or MMAs, because MMAs is real popular. To be great, you have to be able to change up. Sometimes you're gonna be, you're gonna fight a person that's gonna make you fight a little bit different than what you fight because of their style. It clashes with that. If you don't know how to change up, that's gonna be a big problem for you. Me being a fighter, I understood early on from fighting since I was 7 to being, to growing up in the arts. I understood people, like I said, it wasn't social media like it was, but people still had like video recorders, beta tapes. They would
Yeah,
film the fights, so
yeah,
they would study you, right? I used to study fighters, and one thing that I used to study is a fighter would fight from one side, and I started realizing if I'm becoming a champion, it's no at some point they're gonna have footage on me to how to fight me because I fight from this certain position all the time. That's when your demise come when you're pretty much predictable. You dig what I'm saying?
yeah.
And I learned early on, I need to learn to fight from the opposite side. So I learned how to fight from both sides, right? Use both sides of your brain, because we only use really one.
Yeah,
And when I did that, it changed my life because I was undefeated as a fighter, you know what I'm saying? In the world, 3 times in the
yeah.
world, undefeated. That brought me to when I started doing music, I started understanding, well, that philosophy still applies. You
Wow.
have
Yeah,
to change up. In order for me to be in this game as long as I've been in it, and it's like pushing almost 30, and I'm now getting ready to do the lead single for the new Ice Cube record, and I'm still getting ready to do the Netflix stuff. I'm getting ready to score this movie. Most people don't have that opportunity that long in the game because they move
yeah,
on to other stuff. So that
yeah,
means that I've been able to do so much stuff and master different crafts of doing stuff where I've stayed a commodity to the game no matter how long I've been in it because I know how to change up. I don't know how, I'm not just stuck in just this mode. That's why I'm not going to just make 1700 blasts if I have to. You know what I mean? I'm going
yeah,
to
yeah.
make your blast have to. Then I'm going to show you something else. Like, it's times when I make beats. I think my brother Sam Poetry said this. He said, Ski, every time I thought I figured you out, you show me something totally different. And I think somebody mentioned Sam Poetry. If my brother's on here, man, that's another dope brother that I
Yeah,
respect,
man,
man.
that guy is
Sam
crazy,
Poetry,
man.
that's
Yes,
my brother,
sir.
man. Salute to my brother. If he's on here, I think I seen somebody say his name on here. But he said to me, he said, every time I thought I figured out what you was gonna do, you do some East Coast boom bap. You'll just flip it.
Yeah,
And I'm like, because that's my job. My job is to be great at whatever I put my hands on. I want to make it my own and show you the diversity. That's where your longevity comes. So if you just want to be in the game for right now, then just do what you do and just stay focused on the trends. But if you want to be a legend, you want to be an elite, you want to go to another level, you have to challenge your mind. This is where it starts up, your mind. Don't have a complacent mind. You know, that's how you go to the next level. That's even with the drums we talking about, like the drums you got over there. Like, my mindset is, how do I challenge making these drums so every producer, beat maker, I don't care if they're entry level to high end, will be able to have these drums be like, oh my goodness, it's going to inspire you to want to go in there and cook up some of the best stuff. And that takes time. It takes time to sit up there and work on something that's gonna sound good. So even the average person that's never made a beat gonna sound like, damn, he gonna sound way more professional because
Yeah.
sonically it's gonna sound good. Even if they're not as good as they should be,
Yeah.
it's gonna sonically sound somewhat good, you know?
You pushed my upload schedule back because of this. I was actually supposed to drop a video yesterday. Look, I got my camera right here, poor camera. I even twisted it right now. I was
Wow.
ready to rock. I'm like, let me film a video. I'm like filming. I'm before I record, I like to kind of plan something, like, so I'm not just talking whatever, right? So
Right.
I'm like, I'll pop these in. Let me listen to a few sounds. Listen to some kicks, some snares. I'm like, oh, this is dope, man. All right, cool. Let me put some sample on top. And I'm like, yo,
Right.
this is so dope, man. And I'm
Right.
going, and I'm like lost. I'm like, forget the camera. I twist the camera to the side. I'm like, yo, this is so good. Because what happens is when you have this connection, I don't know what to call it, man, but it's a drug. It's ecstasy to me because I feel the chills, man. I'll feel this connection. This is me just talking to myself on the way I feel when I'm connected. I get high, man. Like I feel this rush, and it's so good that I don't want to interrupt that. So when I'm filming a video, I'm a videographer. I'm the studio designer to clean up and put things where they should be. I'm a
Right.
producer. I'm trying to get levels for my video camera. So I'm thinking of a lot of things. So I'm not focused on one thing. But
Right.
right here, I'm like doing a beat. I'm like, I'm lost in. I do not want to interrupt this moment that I have. And that's why I'm like, you won't forget it. I'm not going to upload. I'm not going to record. I got to finish this up. I just got to just focus on this. And that's
Right.
why I called you. I'm like, yo, man, like I haven't,
Hey, and
I haven't
listen,
filmed.
I don't want nobody to think, listen, of course y'all should go out and get this because this is dope. But I brought him on here because he was talking about this. So I'm like, why would I not talk about this? But when I tell you he was so excited about this cassette thumb drive, we talked on the phone for 2 hours on his just how inspired he was and how many beats he was working on and ideas, and it motivated me just to put you on here, man, to say that's why I do it, bro. Because I want somebody like yourself, anybody that's creative, I want you to be inspired as soon as you hear it, because it does it for me. Like I've been posting stuff, people are like, man, Ski, you've been on that 4,000. Yeah, because I got these drums that it sound good once they're in there. I'm working on so much stuff and different stuff. You know what I mean? Different type of stuff. So I just tell people, man, that's what drums do, man. Drums will make you come up with some of your dopest bass lines. When I get this, I can put just a kick, a snare, and a hat. And once I get it going, I'm already hearing the bass line.
Yeah.
I'm already
Yeah.
hearing the strings I'm about to play. I'm already hearing whatever I'm about to play because the kick, it sounds like it's already mixed. It sounds like it's already in your face. Like, man, like I don't, like you just said, I didn't have to do nothing to it. You just step
Yeah.
back, like it's already doing the work. That's that's where the magic is at in this.
Especially, yeah, especially for like me, I'm very simple with my drums, man. Like I'm very simple the way I program my drums. So that's why even for me, having drums that knock harder is very important because I'm not so fancy. I'm not like a crazy finger drummer. I can't do or program
Right,
drums like that.
right,
So I'm
right,
like, yo, this helps me
right, right.
sound a little
No,
better,
no,
like
I
so
get it.
it's important, man, to have drums that complement what you're doing. So like for me, I like to chop up, right? So I like to just get into the chops, the style of records that I'm chopping. But when I have a drum groove, even if it's a basic boom bap beat on the sequence, it kind of, I use it as a reference to see what type of chops that I'm going to work with. So sometimes I'll start with my sample, or sometimes I'll start with drums. But when I have drums that already sound good within my grid, when I'm chopping up records, it comes so much faster, or it just there's more is more natural for me. So
Mhm.
that's why it helps. It helps a lot, man.
No, bro. I mean, bro, like I said, one anybody that's creative, like yourself, I know that you listen to a lot of records and you have your ideas and you got certain records you turn to that it's got certain sounds
Yeah,
that just float you. Bro, the key thing is I know I'm gonna find those sounds, but am I gonna find these drums?
mm,
Because the key to those sounds is drums, especially the stuff you do, especially because the melodies that you put and the
yeah,
chops you make is drums will bring it out.
yeah,
The
yeah,
drums just break. Even the one you sent me, drums just brought that whole sample chop out, just brought it out.
Yeah.
So nothing is more uninspiring is to have to surf through a bunch of kicks and snares to the
Oh
point where by the
man.
time you find your kicks and snares, you're like, you know what, I'll do this
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yes. Yes.
I'll work on this tomorrow. Do you know how many times I've done that where I could
Me
have had
too.
$1 million beat, but because I had to surf through all of these whack kicks and snares and hats and stuff, and I'm talking about it's a process. Like I'm saying it, but it's a long, drawn out process. Listening and listening to try to find the right, bro. I said I just can't do it today. As soon as I find the kick, I'm talking about just a kick and
Yeah.
snare and a hat. Three things. It take me hours. And once I finally find it, I forgot my idea.
Yes.
I forgot the
Yes.
bass line. I said, oh my. I just call it a day. I just turn everything off, say I start again. And that was going on so often. I was like, I said, man, you know what? If I gotta spend a week or two just sound designing, so I have a collection of stuff to turn
Gotcha.
to,
Yes.
so all of these kits and stuff I did was for my own personal use because I
Yeah.
just got tired of surfing through stuff and going through stuff. Even if I chop up a break or a kick from somewhere, it still didn't sound that good to me. It still had to have some type of dynamics to it. So I had to work to try to tweak that and get that. I said, man, if I do the work now, go back to what I say, having that self-discipline or
Yeah.
discipline. If I do the work now, I ain't got to do it later. And I've put myself in a position where now I could just go in there and work on whatever I want and know that I got the right drums to get it done. You dig
Yeah,
what I'm
man. I mean,
saying?
you put yourself in a spot where you can't lose, and I think that's something that just I just read somebody put right now. It creates like a state of flow where that's where you want to be, and even for me, I have my go-to drums. Right, let's say where I'm like, yo, I'm ready to chop up, man. I already have the record. I know what I'm gonna do. I just got to put some drums. So when
Right,
I'm in that mode, is when I will get lost. If I'm like, oh, going through kicks, snares, I'm like, oh man, I'm just lost now. And
right.
I've lost my train of thought.
Yep,
But when I have like the go-to sounds or my go-to drum breaks or my
yep.
go-to one shots, because sometimes it's going to be breaks for me, and
Right,
sometimes it's going to be one shots for me. But when
right,
I have like my go-to folder where I'm like, I know these are not going to fail me, I can go straight into what I already had my creative side, which was this is the record I'm gonna chop up. This is the way I want to chop it up. The drums are pretty much already there. The way I work with even with my drums, I'll create like a simple loop, just even if it's 2 bars, nothing too crazy. But I'm just so connected with my chops at the moment. Then I'll go back to my drums and I'll start to change things up. I'll put some ghost kicks. But I'm very how can I say, like I work off of instinct. And when I lose it, I can't get it back. I can't get it back the way I had it. So
right,
for me, that's why it's
right,
so important. We either have like a handful of breaks or a handful of one shots
right,
that I know that are not going to fail me.
right.
Do what I have to do with my chops, and then I'll go back and I'll start, doing some different patterns with my hi hats. But
Yep.
it's so important, man. It's so important to have those drums that knock, because if they don't knock, my idea that I had with the chops, I'm like, it's not what I had in mind. It's not what
Bro,
I had in mind.
I feel your pain, bro. When you talking, I feel the pain because I feel that same comment. That's the reason why I did it, and I go even further than that. It's the same way I feel with plugins. It's like I had so many plugins
Ooh,
to turn to. When I would go in there, I'm like, okay, I want a bass. I got millions of stuff, but they don't
yeah,
sound good. I got a lot of stuff that's in there, but a lot of it just. So when I got my new computer, I said, that's it. I'm only gonna have my turn two stuff in here because I'm just taking up
yes,
space.
that's it.
It's clogging my whole computer up to the point where it's now I'm just being greedy. I have everything, but none of it is worthy of my attention. But I have it there and it's clogging me up from the stuff that I really need to be working on consistently.
Yeah,
So now you have to train yourself to say, you know what? I have to dumb this down now. I have to start getting into, a systematic way of how I go about working. And that means keep all this frivolous stuff out of my way. I don't I know I like this bass. This sounds more realistic. I like this piano. This sounds more realistic. I like this strings. I like this philharmonic. I
yeah,
like this. I like this trillion. I, I'm gonna stick with the stuff I know work. All the other stuff got to get out of the computer. It's got to get out of the computer. It's clogging up my stuff. It's making me not think. Every time that drop down menu come, I got 5,000 different. I'm like, oh man, it's
Yeah.
overwhelming. So once you start having that self-discipline about how you systematically got your turn to stuff and stuff that sounds good,
Yes.
you're going to be working. And the more you work, that's your workflow. Understanding less is more. That's your workflow. Understanding that I have my things that really work and these sound good, this sound good, this sound good. That's going to give you more consistency to work more, to build more stuff, and to have more of a cohesive, consistent sound, because you're not up there trying to struggle with all of these different plugins. You don't know the parameters of them. You're just trying to figure it out as you go. Okay, let me try this because I've been hearing people talk. It's like, bro,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
learn this stuff, man. Learn what works for your thing, and make that the priority. Put that in your priority list.
And
So that's what
the
I've learned to
only
do.
way to know that is by practice,
That's
because
right.
it's as important to know what you like. It's
Right.
actually even more important that I always say to know what you don't like,
Right.
what to filter out, what to
Right.
toss out, and how to say no. That's a no. That
Right.
was hard for me in the beginning, just knowing how to say no,
Right.
knowing to be like, no, that's not what I'm looking for.
Right.
But now that I have a better understanding with myself, I know what is not good, so I can select exactly the type of plugins, or if there's types of drum breaks. These are the ones that I want to stick with. I don't want to have a
Right.
thousand. Like, I don't like that. I don't like purchasing sample packs that have like 100 kicks and 100. I'm like, it's a headache for me. I'd
I
rather just
mean,
have 10 kicks or 10 snares. Like, just I like to narrow them down. I can work with
right.
those for a long time.
That's real talk. I mean, it's no different than just going to an overwhelming gym and you got this weights, this weight. I mean, you got all of these things. You like, where do I start on today?
Yeah, yeah,
And you're just looking around because I mean, you got some gyms that's just phenomenal. I go in with a plan. Like, nah, man, you know what I'm saying? We'll hit this treadmill, get this running in. We'll go here. You gotta go in with a plan, man. Or because
ooh,
what I'm
yeah,
noticing is that
yeah,
people have so much now, especially in the digital world, they can make stuff quicker, quicker, quicker. I mean, you got third party, fourth party play people. They're making so much stuff and it's shoved on us. And we're getting all of this stuff and we're having all this stuff. And now you have no plan on what really works for your production, what really works for your sound, and we all been victim of it. I have as well. So I'm transparent enough to say I had so much stuff, bro. It was to the point where it's like, bro, I gotta go with the stuff that I know is
yeah,
gonna really work for me. And if I start adding on and I know that works, then I'll bring it back into the mix. If I see that, ooh, I did have that. I mean, maybe I need to get that back. But I have to, an overwhelming mind makes bad decisions. Put it like that. An overwhelming mind. This is the reason why
mm,
when you start
mm,
talking about a producer and a beat maker has an overwhelming mind because he's just trying to get put on. He just wants people to hear his beats, boom, boom, boom. A producer
yeah,
is just like, yeah, that's cool. But what if we did this? They're very calculated and
yeah,
they understand that I'm gonna take my time with this process because I understand the outcome. The outcome is way more important than the emotional part of being and doing it as of right now.
yeah,
So once you understand that, you start becoming a better producer, you start becoming a better man, woman, because you start not letting everything control your emotions. Too much will clog your judgment and everything. This is not just
yeah.
music now. We're not just talking music. We're talking about just spiritually in life. You don't want to be overwhelmed. That's why you have to relax. When you feel that emotion, that anxiety kicking, you have to take a deep breath, relax, think about it, and say, okay,
Mm,
got it.
mm.
I got it.
Jeez, yeah,
This is how I'm gonna go about doing. Because that's what we do. Music. I mean, they push it. The gear, especially the plug-in. That market is it's like a it's like a cesspool. It's just
yeah, man.
it's just a cesspool. Just here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Update, update, a new update, a new update. Software 1722. Just they just it go go go. It just don't stop.
And,
So
that's one thing of me. Now that I just came into the computer, because I was fully standalone, right? That's one thing that I do like, actually, I'll say within standalone, that you're so right. Right now that I'm going back into the plugin world, because I was been in standalone for so long, I'm getting back into what you just said. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, plug in here, plug in
Yep.
there, and then I see
Yep.
a bunch of ads. I'm like, oh man,
Yep.
that I don't like, because
Yep.
now I'm like, oh, I get caught up. It
Yep.
sells me, and I'm like, oh,
Yep.
maybe I should try this out. It
Yep.
looks pretty dope, man. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta try it out.
Everybody.
You know? It's,
You're not, bro. We all are a victim to it. Because we love music and we love the opportunity of, damn, that could do that. Whew, well, I want to, just our
yeah, yeah,
curiosity alone. But this is the difference. The ones that really have a career doing music have to have way more self-discipline than the average
yeah,
hobbyist. A hobbyist, they could do whatever they want to do because they haven't been in a position to know what a timeline is. I have timelines and deadlines. I can't say,
wow,
hey,
yeah.
Q, man, I'm sorry I ain't got it back to you, man. I'm scrolling to see what plug-in works for
Yeah,
that
yeah,
bass I'm
yeah.
trying to play.
That's right. That's right.
Q gonna be
Yes.
like, what? And he gonna hang up on me. You searching, you scrolling. Yeah, man, I got a gang of plugins that I want to put this bass on your track, but I got so many in here. Just give me another day. He ain't got another day. He ain't got another day. He got a timeline. These dudes are on budgets. These are on timelines, bro. And that's why when I talk my talk, it could go over people's heads sometimes because they think I'm talking from this level. I'm talking
Yeah.
from this level. I'm talking about if you want to do it and you really want to pursue it, then you should be pursuing it at this level instead of this level. Because if you're happy at this level, then this conversation ain't for you. But if you want to be at a level where you really want to do it and have a real career, you have to think differently. You can't
Yeah.
think the same way the average person that's just having fun thinks. You know, I don't have the time to sit up there and be going through 17,000 bases and strings, and I need to know what to turn to when it's time to turn to it. I need to have the right drums for what I need for it to do what it needs to do. It ain't no playtime. Netflix called me, hey Ski, we need this, man. Our timeline, we trying to put this out in June. We had this new release for this.
Mm.
No, we want you to score this, boom, boom. Okay, Netflix, well, check this out, man. I just got all these new plugins. Can you give me like another 2 weeks so I can scroll through them? You think that's gonna fly? How long do you think that I will be able to be with these corporations if I'm playing games like that? See, that's the conversation that people don't want to talk about. There's a difference between when you do this and when you're just having fun doing it. Now, how do you want to transition from having fun doing it to really trying
Mm.
to really do it? Because I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's a conversation we had before. A lot of people would love to have an opportunity
Yeah.
to have their records and on a short film or on a Netflix doc or on a TV series or on one of their favorite artists. Who wouldn't? There's
Yeah.
nobody that even thinks about doing music wouldn't want to have an opportunity to see what that type of validation do for them to know that somebody appreciates your music and now you're getting it placed on something that can go out to the world. That's a dream come true.
Yeah.
And it can come true if you don't rush the process and you stay focused and you work on your craft and you build layers to everything you're doing and don't let yourself be overwhelmed. That's why I had to dumb it down. I said, listen, I go sometimes I go into my computer and I turn up. It's like, damn, that's all I got. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I didn't. I because I'm so used to seeing a big old menu come down.
Yeah.
Damn, I ain't got that no more. There's some things I go look for that I don't got no more. I'm like, damn, I ain't got that no more. I be kind of mad I ain't got it now because I got rid of everything, you know. But that's the pros and cons. But I got what I'm supposed to have.
That's right.
And if
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't got something I got rid of, I can always go back and get it. But I'd rather do it like that, have less and build than to have so much and be overwhelmed. Do that make sense?
Yeah, no, yeah, and I
Okay.
think that's why even go back to the MPC 60 or the SP 1200, where you don't have to rely so much on third party things. I'll just say things. It's not just plugins, but even if it's hardware, I think at the end of the day, the more finished it sounds, or the less processing that you have to do to it, the better or the thicker it will sound. Because I had this happen. I was actually mixing an instrumental where it was actual live drums, everything live. Uh, I do like a rough mix and it sounds great. Oh man, this sounds so good. It sounds the way I want it to sound. And then I'll start mixing it, right? And then I'm like, man, I lost what I had after all the
Mm,
processing. And then I'm like, you know what? I do a save as so I can always go back to that. And when I go back to, I'm like, yo, I cannot match this anymore. But then I'm
right.
like, it's because I have so much, I have overly cooked, you know? So I go back, I'm like, the less processing that it needs, the thicker the sound it comes out. So that's one thing that now that I'm kind of going into, you know, the DAW and all that, using all these plugins, I enjoy it. I like it, but I have my selective plugins that are like, all right, I know this Pultec. I have the Pultec, the UAD Pultec. Man, I use that. I don't even touch it. I just put it on a bass and I leave it. I don't do no
Right.
parameter changes. It just has a sound to it. So
Right. Just
I
going through.
already know
Yeah,
exactly.
just going through it.
I'm familiar with that. I'm like, I'm just gonna put that right there. What is it? The VOG or the Voice of God
Yeah.
from UAD.
Yeah.
I don't do anything to it. I just put it with whether
Yep.
if it's a kick or whether it's a bass or maybe it's a sample that it needs it. I know some plugins already that are not going to fail me. That I'm like, all right, these
Right.
are like the selected ones that I already know that I'm connected with, and I'm going to just have it on my favorites where I move faster. I don't have to put a bunch of EQs and then compressor and then in the EQ again and then a limiter. Like it just takes so much out of the integrity of why I chose that sample.
That's facts, man. And you saying that even with plugins, I say that even with analog stuff. Some stuff you don't you just run it through the circuitry and it's crazy. It's like
Yeah,
even like a lot of stuff, even with my board, I have the Triton 68. I'm running my kick because all my stuff is separated on the board.
yeah, yeah.
I literally never really have to touch the EQ on the board or nothing. Like literally, I
That's
just
crazy.
everything just
Yeah,
sounds because it's hitting the circuitry,
that's
hitting the
crazy.
capacitor.
Wow.
It's amazing, bro. It's amazing what can happen when you understand what you're doing and how you can make your stuff go to a whole nother level. And you're absolutely right what you just said. 3000% correct. You could just let stuff, you don't have to even touch nothing on there and just let it go through there, and you will see the change of it just mold into something. You're
Yeah,
absolutely correct.
yeah.
Correct. And that's with analog gear as well.
Yeah,
You
man. I
know?
mean, you know, even what analog gear going through processing it, it just it sometimes would just again I go back to just the initial instinct that I have, and that's a connection. There's a reason why I connected, whether it's the sample that I'm going to choose. There's something about it that I never want to lose. The
Right.
way I chop it, of course, I could resequence it, flip it, and do this and that, and do my own flip to it. But there was a reason why I chose what I chose. And the reason why, most likely for me, and we've talked about this before, it's sound. It's more than melody, more than the minor chords. I like, I always say I like the love novela style of records in Spanish. They got so much soul. They cry, and there's like something behind it. So I'm like, what is it? It's not much of a certain a melody, but there's this sound to it. And that's what you've been saying. Like I like records from the 70s, the 60s, maybe some 80s, but there's this sound that I grab it that I don't even know about. But I know there's something about it that I enjoy. So no matter which way I reflip it, I want to keep the integrity of that sound that I first fell in love with. So
Right.
that's something that I know I can lose by processing so much with all that, plugins and all that stuff,
By
which
far.
it's happened before. Yeah.
By far. I mean, people don't realize, man, I've seen cats have about 17 plugins on a kick drum. I'm like, bro, this is crazy. This is crazy, bro. That means that kick drum was trash.
Yeah, I was about to say it means that kick drum wasn't it.
That kick drum wasn't it, bro. If listen to all y'all on here, when you start seeing any of your engineers have 17 plugins on a kick drum and snares and stuff like that, you might want to get a different kick drum or a different snare because something's wrong. Something's completely wrong, man. That is crazy. Man, if you've seen a lot of these engineers folders and you see all this stuff on there, it baffles me, man. And when the product is done, it still sounds small
Yeah.
because all that processing ain't making you sound bigger. You sounding smaller and smaller. More and more and more you add, the smaller you get. People think you sounding bigger. and it's just not true.
That's man, that's deep, man.
It's just not true. You know what I'm saying? So man, I mean, at the end of the day, man, I hope y'all learned something on here, man. Sparkle Effect, what's up, man? Hey, speaking of that, real quick, I want to show you something. Sparkle Effect and his team, man. Shout out to Julio Rivera too for my cup, man. For my EAC.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
dope,
man. Thank
man.
you,
That's
man. I
dope.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. And you know that I'm a Raider, so on the flip
Oh.
side. Yes. Yes,
Hey,
indeed.
I'm from Vegas, bro. So
There, oh,
we
there
took
you
them.
go.
We took them.
There you go. There you go. There you go. I knew that's why we was rocking together, Malo. I knew something was going on.
Oh
Hey,
man.
man. Hey, we don't want to see Vicky's one, but let's talk about mine. Let's don't talk about Vicky's. Love you, Vic. Yeah, man. Shout out to Sparkle Effects, man. Thank you, man. And shout out to Julio Rivera. You know what I'm saying? His mom passed away, man. So we want to give prayers out to his mom. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate you, bro. Keep your heart and your spirit up, man. That's a hard time, man. But we definitely praying for you, man, and just fulfill your purpose, man. Be inspired now to, go harder now. You know what I'm saying? Because we lose someone,
Yeah.
instead of being dark about it, we got to start saying, okay, how much time I got left. Let me do what
Mm,
I need to do while I'm here. It's a different way of thinking about death sometimes. It's hard because we don't want to lose no
yeah.
one. That especially your mother, your father, anybody. But you have to start thinking, well, what's your time like now? Why you spending that time
Wow.
in sorrow? Is maybe
Yeah.
it's time for you to do something because all our time is ticking, man. So let's stay inspired, no matter what, man. And let's stay prayerful for people's hearts so they can be inspired. So shout out to Julio Rivera's, man, for the nice. I guess he made the design and the painting for this, if
That's
I'm not
dope. That's
mistaken.
dope.
Yeah, this is beautiful, man. And I know I'm joking around, but no, Vicky's cup is amazing. She has her cup is fire. Her cup is fire too. She got a dope one. She got the 49ers on hers. Me and Vic, we joke around, but all jokes aside, she got a dope one too. But yeah, but this is the one right here. So man, thank you again, man. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Um, like I said again, man, Malo, man, we could chop it up all day, bro, because this is something we passionate about. This conversation is something that we love. We love music, man. And every time we chop it up, we be on here chopping it up for
Yeah,
hours
yeah.
because of the passion, because of the love
That's
for the
right.
music, and because of the love for knowledge. And I just want to let you know, man, that I appreciate you, man. I acknowledged it early on when I saw you doing stuff and I saw your content. I said, it just seems sincere. It just your content seems sincere, and I'm proud of you. You're getting bigger. You're building and building, and I love that. I just love to see that. I love to see people that's sincere doing what they do, and trying to give the right information. And then first and foremost, loving the music though, because you love the
Yeah.
music and you do the music. A lot of people don't do the music. A lot of people don't show who they are. A lot of people don't do their music and show their passion for the music like you
Yeah.
do, like I do. I try to show the passion for my music. So it's not just me speaking. I try to show you through the music. So when you hear the music,
Yeah.
you can feel the passion through the music. And that's what you do when I hear you doing your beats and you cooking stuff up. It's like, dude, that's why we connect. This is the reason why me and Sound Orca connect. This is why me and certain people connect is based upon that passion, man. The passion has to be there, man. So I salute you, bro, for what you're doing. I see you constantly growing, and I see your mind is always thinking of ways to always step up your production. I'm watching you. I'm like, I love it. I love it, bro. And man, and I really do appreciate you hitting me and telling me how dope these drums sound because that's what it was all about for me. For people to say they got some drums that they could turn to, I did my job. I did my
That's right,
job.
man.
And I'm not going to say that these are not expensive because they are a little expensive. But just think about this, y'all. When you think about when you get this, think about what it took to make it. How much gear did I bought to process? Now you have an SSL in your studio. Now you have a Manley in your studio. Now you have a Neve in your studio. Now you have a Mag Audio. You have all of this gear that I've spent my money on to process these drums. Now you have it in your studio. So when you think about the expense of what's charged for this, think about what is being ran through, and now you have that same type
Mm,
of stuff that I have in your studio. And you just figure out, is that worth it to you or not? And I'm good with whatever it is. but I did it to make sure that y'all had something that sounds incredible. That was the initial goal. So I salute you, man, for that. I can't wait to see the video you post too, brother.
Yeah.
You know, I
You got
can't
me
wait.
all backed up, man. So I'll probably be launching on Monday or Tuesday, man. You got me all
Yeah,
off schedule, but man, thank you for having me on here, man. You know, you're very well respected, and just for you to have me on your platform, man, I'm extremely humbled for that. I always learn from you. I'm always asking you questions too. I'm like, yo, man, what synthesizer you recommend
yes,
me,
sir.
man? So
Yes, sir.
I'm like, this is the guy I gotta ask.
You know what? You know what I love about you though, bro? You doing what you're doing and having your fan base, and you still being able to be humble. Because you know, there get some guys that feel like I don't get a lot of you know, I have a fan base what it is, but you know, you get a lot of views, you get a lot of, you know, stuff that goes your way that I don't get, which I'm fine with that. But you get some people that feel like they're in a position where they're getting so much views, they got so much going on that I'm, I don't need to talk and answer to nobody. They get that just because you get views, just because you have more subscribers, just because you that doesn't make you reputable or credible. You know, it just means that you've tapped in your thing, and that's a beautiful
Yeah,
thing. But you still, if you're trying to do it on a real level, you got to be honest and say,
yeah,
where's that knowledge really at? Where's you? And I respect the fact that you will hit me up like, hey, Ski man, I need some advice. That's what you're supposed to do. We supposed to go. I don't care how big. I don't care how big I get. I know who to call to go get knowledge. You
yeah,
know. So when you stay humble and you don't let your platform allow you to get in that mindset where I'm this and I'm that, you're gonna be a beast, homie. You're gonna always be a beast. Stay humble, and that's what I love about you, bro. You're doing your thing, and you've stayed humble, and you have no problem reaching out, say, "Hey, Ski man," and you did. You was like, "Man, what sense you think?" And I'm trying to go through some stuff because there's so many, you know.
yeah,
But we're gonna work it out because of the respect, and you know that I know, and that's what I salute you on is always paying that homage and knowing and staying in that space where you want to continue to grow. That's why you're going to continue to get your blessings, bro, because of that humbleness and not allowing yourself to be caught up in your own vanity. That's
yeah.
crazy.
No, man. You know, I'm grateful for the audience that I have. Sometimes I don't even like to look at that number. I'm like, God, I don't want to look, man. I just want to have a good time. I just
Right.
want to have fun. And at least one thing that you and I just relate to so much is passion, man. It doesn't matter
Yes.
our background. It doesn't matter our age or what we are or who we are, but just that passion that we have, man, is like, you my brother, man. Like that,
Man,
we
you that
feel the same thing,
that's
man.
right. That's right. And bro, and I talking to
Yeah,
you like I don't even think that I'm EA ski. When I'm talking to you, I don't I forgot about all the stuff I've done. I'm just talking to you like, what up, Malo? What's good? What's
that's
up? Man,
right.
you gotta
That's
get this.
right.
I'm talking to you like we the homies from the block, you
That's
know?
right.
And this is how I try to talk to people on my channel, like, bro, I'm a regular dude, but I do have the knowledge. And if you do
Yeah,
listen, I'm not gonna misguide you because I want to see everybody be great. But some people just gonna have to figure it out on their own. And some people that listen, they'll get the knowledge because, like I said again, knowledge is power, man. I didn't have this. I didn't have the social media. We couldn't just get on here and just talk. I couldn't just get on here and split the screen. Hey, Dre, what's up? Nah, that wasn't gonna happen.
yeah,
You had to go see people in person. So y'all got all of this luxury, man. Don't blow it. Don't take it for granted. Be blessed.
yeah,
Pray that you have somebody like me that's willing to give these gems out, that's willing to tell you about certain things, that's willing to show you about what's going on and how you can go to another level, man. It's a blessing, man. And I just hope people don't abuse it because it
yeah.
don't come around that often. You dig what I'm saying?
That's right, man.
Real talk, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, Malo, man. We're gonna keep in touch. You know how we do. We're gonna always keep chopping it up. I
Yes.
appreciate it. I can't wait to hear all these beats you're gonna come up with this, man. Anybody
That's
interested in
right,
getting the
man.
thumb drive, man, go to easki.com, man. It's only a limited amount. It's only 100 of these made. I did that for a reason because I wanted this to go down being a classic. So those who interested in it, go to easki.com and go check it out, man. And man, make sure you send that to me when you put it together, brother.
I will. Yeah.
Sure.
That's right, man. Thank you, man.
Anything.
Well, thank you, and thank you to everybody that stuck around watching this video. I appreciate everybody, man. Thank you guys so much. again, thank you for having me on your platform. It's an honor to be here, man. So I always learn new stuff. As a matter of fact, I'll say this again. Every time I'm done talking with you, I'm always going on Reverb. I'm like looking for MPC 60s. I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
should I? I'm like, next time.
Well,
Yeah, man.
the greatest thing about that, man, is that, I feel like you in a position where you should be doing that because you have grown so much with your production. It's like you being able to see and test these things out is going to challenge you even more because
Yeah,
I could tell you like to be challenged. And
yeah.
that's how you be challenged by some of those type of things you're looking at. So just, but you gotta be, you gotta be frugal too. These things ain't
Yeah,
cheap. You just can't go
that's
Reverb.
right.
I'm buying that. That's not gonna happen. You know what I mean? We gotta
That's
be
right,
frugal. We
man.
gotta be smart on what we purchase too. So I
Yeah, we,
get
we
it.
got to be smart.
Yeah, man, because you can go down that dark rabbit hole, man, and you'll be in there. You know what I mean? Trying to crawl to get back up out of it. I know how that go.
I'm like,
But
I put it in the shopping cart. I look at the taxes. I'm like, oh, cool. I just want to see that number.
yeah,
And then
man,
I
it's
delete it.
It's crazy, man. I want to give a big shout out too, man, before I forget, because I gotta say this. My brother Obscure Street, man, knew that I had a 606. Like that was my first ever drum machine, the Rolling 606. So my
Mhm.
Rolling 606 now is just toe up. It's jacked up. It don't even work. I just didn't think about investing and getting it fixed or nothing like that. So I was looking for one. My dude found me one and about to send me one. Brand like it looked spanking new. He sent me the video. Shout out to Obscure Street, man. That has been a rider. That's become like me and you, like my brother, man. Shout out to him, man. He about to send me a 606, brand new with the manual and the whole
Jeez.
nine in it,
Damn.
right? And they can run because it's vintage now. It's
Yeah.
it's a vintage rolling 606. So then I talked to my other brother, KOC, and KOC saying, man, Ski, you tripping. I said, what you talking about, K? Like, man, you should have been and took your 606 and got it and sent it to Bruce and got it repaired. That's like, yeah, you can get a new one. You can get another 606, but it ain't going to be like the one you first started on.
Yeah.
And, and bro, this is what I mean by steel sharpens steel. I was like, KO made me feel so low. I was like, yeah, you're right. I should have sent it to Bruce for a rat and got it fixed because even if I get a new 606, it won't be like the original one that I
Yeah.
started on. So why not get that repaired? That is your legacy. And it was him talking to me and
Wow.
saying that to me. I said, you're right, bro. I didn't think about it. I just, because I don't really use the 606 as much, so I didn't, but it's
Yeah.
still my legacy. So shout out to my brother KL. This is why you got to have great people that's not yes men. I don't have yes men in my corner. I have great people that say, man, Ski, come on, bro. Think about that. And I'm the same way to them. This is what I
Yeah.
tell you. Have great people in your corner that's going to inspire you for the better. He made me think about something I just didn't think about. It. So guess what I did? I called Bruce for a ride. I said, Bruce, the 606 is coming to you Monday. You're going to have the 606 repair it, bring my stuff back. Even though I'm going to still get my other 606 that my man
Yeah.
is sending me, Obscure Street, shout out to him. I'm still going to have my original one done and repaired the way it's supposed to be. And I might even go as far as modifying it and getting it all modified out. You know what I mean? But shout out to my brother keeping me on my toes and making me think about something I just didn't think about at that time. To everybody that's listening, please keep great people around you.
Yes.
Don't be
Yes.
around yes men. Don't be around people that just pat you on the back and just trying to just patronize you. You want to be around people that inspire you, that make you get out of that comfort zone. Please, y'all. I'm telling you, your success depends on you having people that will tell you that's trash. Don't do it. Don't do it. That ain't it. You need people that's going to be around you. And then when they do finally say that's it, you can believe them because they're quick to tell you that ain't it. The ones that's quick to tell you that ain't it, when they finally say that it, you can trust them because they don't have no problem telling you that ain't it.
Yeah,
That's
man.
a
Hey,
consistent person.
honest friends are a dying breed,
Man,
man.
you
Everybody's
have
very
to,
sensitive now.
bro, you can't be around just people that patronize because it's giving you a false sense of who you are. And that's why we surround ourselves with people that we just makes us feel good. That's not good for your health.
Yeah.
It's not good for your mental. It's not good for your growth. So shout out to my brother KLC. Shout out to you, Malo, man. Salute to you, man. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
the words you said about this meant a lot to me because I put a
Oh
lot to
man,
try.
yeah.
Just to even make a cassette, to get back to the
Yeah, this
nostalgia.
is dope. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just want to bring it. That's how much passion I got for it. Because I remember when I used to buy cassettes and pop them in my deck. Well, I'd be until that tape popped. When that tape popped, she was like, "Oh, I gotta go buy another one." So I just want to get back to just giving that vibe. So anybody that's looking forward to this, go to easki.com, man. I appreciate you, brother. We're gonna stay in touch, man. God bless you, brother, and your family, man. And remember what I told you
Thank
the
you.
other
Thank
day.
you.
When I told you, I said, man, I'm proud of you, man. You and your wife, y'all a unit. Stay that
That's
unit.
right.
I don't care what you go through. That unit, y'all go through it together. Ain't nothing gonna stop you, ever.
That's right, man. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And thank you, everybody, for having me. I had a good time. Always a good time. Hopefully, we can do this again soon.
Always, brother. You always here, brother. We always here anytime.
That's right, man. Thank you, guys.
All right, bro. God bless you, man. We'll talk later.
All right, brother. Peace out, man.
Peace. Hey, man, that was my brother, man. Malo Beats, man. If y'all not following my brother, man, go follow him, man. Really, really dope guy. Really got great tutorials. Just a really, really good spirit. His spirit is dope, man. Spirit is dope, man. You want to be around people that got great spirits, man. So I just hope that y'all got something from the little stuff we did. We got on here, man, because he was really proud of this, man. He loved this a lot. And I hope that y'all go out and be able to get it. And I think y'all will love it too. You know what I mean? So go check it out if you can. I know it's a little expensive, but I think it'd be worth it. It'll be a great investment, I tell you that. Man, shout out to everybody that's on here, man. Thank y'all for the super chats, man. I see you, Maximus. Chris, what's up with it? Chris Davis, what's good? Adlib, what's good, sir? R. Bemis. Norman, what up with it, brother? The producer you can count on, man. What's good? What's good, man? What's good? Random guy, what's up with it, man? You was live, was fire. Much love, man. 79 Classic, what's up with it, homie? Hey, man, I'm just trying to bring y'all real stuff that's going to inspire y'all, man. That's all I'm trying to do. Nothing more, nothing less. Anything else, I just don't care about. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care about nothing else but inspiring y'all and getting y'all to be great producers, beat makers, artists, singers, businessmen, entrepreneurs. But most important is just get close back to God, man, because God is going to inspire you to do everything you want to do. So hopefully all of this knowledge is going to push us in the right direction. So salute to everybody. Salute to Vicky, man. Thank you, Vic, for holding it down. I appreciate you from day one. You've been holding it down with me 20 plus years, man. I got to give a big shout out to Vic, man. Y'all need to give a big shout out to Vicky. She is the one that keep a lot of stuff running. She gets y'all products on time. She makes sure the tracking is right. Anybody that orders stuff, she's on top of it, man. And like I said again, good people are hard to find, y'all. So when you find them, keep them in your corner, man. Keep them in your corner. Don't think that something else is better. You'll be shocked to see that you're gonna be chasing that probably until you're dead. You know. God bless everybody, man. Y'all have a great Sabbath, man. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy y'all day, man. Be inspired. Man, Sound Orca, man. What's up, sir? Cop those EA ski drums ASAP, man. Yes, sir, man. Y'all go get this cassette thumb drive, man. Go get it. And if you can't afford this one, we still got this one. You know what I'm saying? This is a thumb drive. You can get this one. This has got the 2024s and the acoustic drums. This got everything. This has everything. This have over 700 drums on here. So check it out if you get a chance. Thank you, Sound Orca, man, for being in and tuning in on this Saturday, man. I love you, bro. You know I rocks with you tough, bro. If y'all ain't following my brother Sound Orca, man, follow my brother Sound Orca, man. Y'all go back, check out some of the lives that me and Sound Orca had, man. We talked about a lot of real stuff as well. I got nothing but respect for my guy, man. Salute to you, brother, and your family and your baby, man. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much for just being a solid homie, man. And man, y'all stay up. Have a blessed day. Go get it. Let's get it. The Almighty, I'm out.